guys, it's the Learning Insights podcast once again, and we're back with a new episode. My name is Joanna, and I'm your host, and I'm not alone today. So, right now, I'm just going to be introducing everyone who is on the show today. First of all, you already guessed it, my co host, Ope.
Hello, guys.
And we have Dr. Femi Oladimeji.
Hello, guys. Good to be here again.
And we have a special guest, Mrs. Ololade Ogunnubi.
Hi, is this where we do the drum roll thing?
Drum rolls, yes. And she's the owner of Lola Cater for the Needy NGO. You guys know what NGOs are, right? I'm sure you do. So how are you guys doing today? How's everybody?
Doing good.
Awesome.
Fine.
Are you sure people are sounding low, but you're saying you're good?
I'm doing good now. Monday.
Yeah, well, I'm good. It was a short weekend, so
Yeah, very
One
short.
shot.
but,
Short.
it also continues. So
Yeah.
I'm back again at it.
Yeah.
It's good to have Miss Lola on the show again.
So Lola Cater for the Needy just turned 5. Woo!
Ooh.
That's cause for celebration.
Yeah,
How has it been? 5 years is not easy. How has it been?
It's been awesome, right? I think I want to look back and access so much has gone on.
Yeah.
And I would also say I look forward to the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years as long as, God
So
permits.
yeah. So there was a celebration. How did that go? I was meant to be there, but
Don't worry, you're forgiven. Yeah, it went well. I think the essence of the celebration was to have everyone that has been with us from day one.
yeah.
And they were awarded, yes. And apart from that, we had volunteers or state coordinators from other states.
Yeah.
We've actually have state volunteers in like 25 states in Nigeria. So we
Wow.
had those that could make it down, yes. But the essence was just to have everyone come together. I really don't want to make it like a corporate thing. I just want it to be something more fun.
Yeah.
Then let's look back, remember how far we've come, how we all started, know the G's. Remember when we had this IDP camp? Remember when we went to this state? Remember? Yeah, so that was just what I wanted that day. And yeah, it was far more than my expectation.
I'm sure the
Had-
water worked.
Yeah. Had friends, family. It was just all fun. And it was everything I wanted. It was a picnic party and outdoor thing. And everyone just coming together, eat, drink, merry, and let's remember how far we've come, where we are, and yeah, the vision.
Then plan for the
Ahead.
Next.
future.
Like,
Yes.
exactly. So how did you come? How did you start up? Why did you start up the NGO? And was it always educational based?
Okay, from the onset, it was.
Yeah.
I got posted to Nasarawa State for the Youth Service Corps. And on camp, I volunteered to take a section with VS, so that's Voluntary Service Advocacy. It's an NGO. And so one of the things I was taught on the camp, like a capacity building, so I was meant to use that to be a volunteer teacher
Oh, okay.
during my youth service here. Then I got posted to one of the local governments in Nasarawa State. And so my voluntary teaching service was to a school just behind the secretariat. And every time you go to class, kids are not in school. You have more population of the boys than the girls. Like, okay, I think there's something wrong somewhere. Then when you go for your clearance or CDS, just opposite the secretariat, you hear the market women or the vendors saying stuff like, oh, my daughter is getting married. And I'm like, which daughter? This small one. Of course, it felt like a cultural shock to me because I'm coming from the West. I'm coming from Lagos where education is...
True.
You can't be on the streets during work hour.
Yeah.
I'm doing school
School
hour,
hours.
rather. It's either two things, or it's either you're very ill, right? Maybe your parents are taking you to the hospital, so take you to the hospital, or you're on break. I don't know. I just feel there has to be something.
Yeah.
Or it's either your parents can afford your school. And even if they can't afford it, you are not meant to be out of the house. And this is like in-house something. You don't have, you can't
Yes,
be
like
out
nobody
because
should
people will
know.
ask questions like, why you not in school? Why others? But I'm coming to a place where it's like education
That
is
the norm.
yeah, just give this nonchalant
meant to
attitude
be,
about
yeah.
it. And like, hey, there's more to life than this. And I've seen the importance of education.
Yeah.
So you're not getting one. So yeah, that was how we started. Go back to Abuja. And same thing, they go to work every morning, see the guys cleaning your windscreen during school hours
Yeah.
or
Up till
selling
now, we
bread in
still see that.
traffic and
Yeah.
all of that. Like, what's wrong with you people? Because I was thinking Abuja should be, far better than Hodo State. And yeah, it's still the same thing. So yeah, that was how we started off. And I also know it's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah.
You just paying school fees
Yeah.
or getting them in school. So why not empower their parents
Mm-hmm.
or the youth in the family? So that's why we do more youths and women empowerment, right?
Okay.
Because I also saw there's also the cultural shock of women not working or
Yeah.
being like full housewife and all of that. Like, hey, now wow, when I come from men work, right? They
Yeah.
have to make ends meet and support the family. So that's why. So it hasn't always been education because
Okay, so you,
even if you do the education part or take care of it, there has to be sustainability. So what if I'm not there tomorrow? What if the organization is not there tomorrow? And what if there's no funding tomorrow? So the child have to drop out of school. So rather like empower the parents, empower
Yeah.
the youth in the community and say how.
But
okay.
the empowerment stuff, like, did this come as you started, or it was like after some time you noticed this?
I think from the onset, because I've
Okay.
always thought about it. For me, I like visualizing like ahead.
Mhm.
So I need to be. I usually look at the good, the bad, the ugly of a particular situation. So if I'm
Yeah.
coming up with a project, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Right? If I'm starting off something, what if in the next 2-3 years I'm not there? What's going to happen?
Okay.
So I always like project ahead and try as much as I can. And what if I've also learned or over time I'm used to people not always being there. So today you can't tie people down, right?
You
So if I
can't,
put
yeah.
in a particular, if I wanted you to do a particular thing for me and something good comes up for you tomorrow, you of course you want to leave. So what if you're not there tomorrow? What's going to happen? So I usually plan for all of those things
Okay.
ahead.
Okay.
So I did check it out. Like I said, I'm coming from a place where everyone works, right? So I just thought about it. What if what the parents are coming up with is not enough? I think one of the first documentary we did was at Grandpa Village,
Okay.
and they were trying to tell us about how they had to pay the kids' school fees or the kids had to be in school and all of that.
Yeah.
So one thing one of the parents said was she she sells corn. She harvests corn, right? She's a farmer.
Okay.
And most of the time, just to pay her kids' school fees, she would have to go to the principal and say, I beg you, we never harvest corn. We never sell yet. When we sell, we go come give you money.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So at least that's someone that wants a child to be educated and she's trying, right? So what she's doing is when it's the harvest season and all, she gets to sell and pay her kids' school fees. But what happens those period when
She's off.
yes, she's off farming season, right? So those are all the things we get to think about because some school will probably allow, why some won't even allow, and these are like even
you can't pay.
public
get
school
out.
that in quotes is meant to be free. Thank you. So so what happens those period when she can't afford it? Will the child education stop? Now the principal is understanding what happens to those that are not, right?
Yes.
So NGOs, I mean, doing all you say you do under the umbrella of non-profit. So let me not just say non-governmental now.
Yeah.
So, but non-profit. Like you put yourself out there, try to share your knowledge, give of yourself. And I mean, definitely, I know we've worked together before at Lensplore, and I know you give that ladies
Sanitary
pads,
kids.
their kids. You do training for the women to empower them. You have a school. I mean, how do you handle all of these? Bear in mind that you wake up every morning with the fact that there is no profit for me for these. How easy is that? Or how, let me not say how difficult is it to wake up every morning knowing that, okay, I'm in this state, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I mean, human being, we assume we are built to always ask, what is in it for me? So how have you been able to keep motivation alive for yourself, for your team members, when you have different things you are trying to give back to these communities?
So for me, I think it's a thing of the mindset. I tell people, or when I was growing up, I think one of my phases, I don't want to leave this world without making impact. Then I didn't know what I was saying. I just felt I should be here. I should be a solution to my generation. I shouldn't just come and live that way. So at a very early age, I watch what I do, what I say. In fact, I think I was telling someone that as at 16, 17, I was more like a role model in my community growing up. So I've had parents walk up to me and tell me, Auntie Ladi, please, I don't like the way you're tying your scarf. It looks like you're tying like the other religion. And I don't want my child to do that because she looks up to you. Right? So for me, I didn't know. I was just living my life.
Yeah.
And for a mother, not one, not two, I've had people walk up to me like, I like how you do this. But please, can you not? Because my child looks up to you. In my head, I'm just living my life. Right? I didn't know all of that, right? Growing up. So for me, it has always been a thing of making impact. So either the fund comes in or it doesn't come in, I use the little I have to do. And I also believe in partnership. I can't erase that. I think partnership does a whole lot, right? One of the things I tell people, even if I'm doing capacity building or mentoring section and whole, one of the things I say, work with partnership people. You can't do everything. Even if you can do everything, there are still places you would need people. It might be technical support. It may not say it be financial support. Last year we mentored over, I think, close to 100 youths from 24 countries. And the idea was it was a 4 month mentorship program, while for the next 6 months, which will end June this year, then to mentor children or teenagers in their community, at least 20 teenagers in their community. And when it got to the issue of how are they going to sustain like for the next 6 months and all of that, I told them something. It's partnership. You won't get the money. If you're going into NGO for the money's sake, trust me, you won't even get it. And those that find their way to get it, they're not relevant today.
Yeah.
Talking from experience. So if your mindset was money, 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 you won't make impact. And if you get the money at the initial stage, you won't make it true.
Yeah, but we've had NGOs that their focus is on UN, trying to attract these foreign donors.
Where are they today?
They are not really trying to really do. Because I feel as if it's as if the non-profits that are really committed, they don't get the attention. They don't get that. But there is this positioning that these guys do that they want to just say, okay, I want to, call it Shikari me. You want to be seen like, everything they are doing, there must be a camera at their back. As they are giving the nylon, there's a camera at their back. They are more focused on ensuring that, okay, we'll capture everything.
Put it out there.
Yes.
But like I said, I've seen them. I know them. They're in our midst. A friend told me last week, and like, have you heard from this person? I said, no. The last time I saw him was last year, or heard from him was last year. In my mind, I knew one day it will catch up with you. You can't say you do a particular thing when you don't do it.
Okay.
In fact, I was, out of curiosity, I was actually going through the person's page, I think this morning. Something popped up on my on one of my social media pages, and I just saw the person's name and I just checked through. And I saw a documentary he did, and it still has is this shorter? There's this images thing online, like pictures you can get online. So how you do a documentary about your organization and you're having pictures on, which means you're actually not doing anything. But if this person presents to you and tell you what he's doing, you will think he's actually doing a whole lot.
Wow.
But in the real sense of it, it's not doing anything. A lot of people ask me so many times, how does this guy get awards, the national awards? And I'm like, I'm like, everybody, every malam, it's own too, right? I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If it's for the sake of the money, the fame, too many people have told me, you would have buy car, sure, you would have done this, you would have built house now. I said, I know how other people are doing it, but I chose not to. Because I know what I wanted. It is not about the money, it's about the impact. So, like I said, I've seen those people fall short at the end of the day. Now, this particular person, I'm sure the person is actually asking after him because of friendship. But imagine every other person that's probably directly or indirectly has been writing you off. I was just sharing with my team last week. An organization reached out on LinkedIn. This was an organization we reached out to 2 years ago. This person is one of the biggest DJ in the US. So during COVID, it was given freely. it was supporting education. Of course, schools were shut down and
Yeah.
also he was using all of his earnings to ensure free school. He came up with so many. So that was how he started his NGO during COVID. I reached out then. So like, oh, this is what we do because of course, I said what this is what we do, blah, blah. And that was all. I didn't follow up. I didn't do anything. And he just reached out last week and said, oh, we've been following what you guys do. And we have a project in Africa and we'd like to run through your organization.
Wow.
I did not know, but he said he's been following. And that's 2 years ago. So imagine 2 years ago, we didn't get a positive response. Response was, oh, we'll get back to you. And of course, when people tell you things, they're like,
Yes,
You
they're not
know,
getting
that's
back.
the end.
and you know, people's mindset with Nigerians reaching out to those outside, you guys are all the same.
Yeah.
But for him to say, we've been seeing what you guys have been doing in the
They've been
last 2
watching.
years, and we would like to work with you. So you never can tell who is watching.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people when I get the awards, either the local or the international, one of the things I said, I'm not doing it for the award's sake.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because I felt, let me make an impact and go.
Yeah.
I don't want a situation where one of the things I also say when we go to schools and talk about the SDG goals, right? So when I'm done, one of the things I usually tell the children is, how many of you know Dangote? They'll say, yeah, like, okay. But in some of these goals, it does go 8, it does this, it does that. I'll say yes. Especially when it has to do with innovation, I think go 8, if I'm not mistaken, or 11. So I'll tell them, do you know you can also sit back and think of something that when you're no more, your kids, your grandchildren, your great will refer back to you. How many of you want that? And you see the excitement. That's another thing for helping children. Because if you let them know at an early age that you could be more, you could be this, when others are going right, if you know left is the best, not you being what's it called, being rebellious. I just want to show them. If you know left is the best, be there. When I was in secondary school, everybody was on low cuts. Of course, it's normal thing. But you know, when you get to SS2, everybody wants to ensure that the school authority knows that some people that just got to SS3, everybody was praising their second year. I did not. And when the hostel master came, I was picking people out that you knew they were going to do it. I was having my siesta. So when I woke up, I started beating almost everybody. And I'm like, how come nobody woke me up? He said, so they basically said they know you will not do it.
Wow.
So he said nobody should wake me up. In fact, because of course, if you'd have come to check my ears, I would have woken up and like, what's the problem?
Yes.
But they allowed me to sleep.
Yeah.
They're like, because there's a message, no Lolade will not do it.
Yeah. So does this go for there's this negative perception right from when I was little? I think I've always heard that, or it has been insinuated in different ways that NGO is just like a money making scheme. Like you want to make money, just set up an NGO. Before you know it, somebody will come to pass money to you. So what do you have to say for that or about that?
Actually, one thing about Nigeria is we make a whole lot of policies, but implementation is the problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I set up, I was invited by DSS. What's it called? AFCC will give you certificates, right? To say, oh, no money laundry, blah, 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 with the lectures.
That's like normal procedure.
Normal procedure, right?
Okay.
So you should also know that if you're caught doing any of you could be sentenced, you have to pay a fine, do this and all of that. So that's there, right? And I also get the perception of people not wanting to, because of course, if you've walked up to me before now and you presented something to me in a fraudulent way, if any other person is coming up to me, I'll be vigilant. I'll put on my guard at I'll be like, I had an experience. So it's normal. I remember when we started out, thank God I was working then. When we were to launch the organization, people were not giving in. Like, everybody, NGO people, so still
coming
money,
again.
you joined them, And I'll be like, it is well. I did the launch. I think we gave scholarship to 10 students from, I think, 3 schools.
Yeah.
Then we had, in partnership with NAF Conference Center, funny, we had like over 300 children also from different schools in Abuja came in. We did the talk, gave out school bags to the children. They had an award, LD competition and all. Then when we started posting pictures of what we did, I think we got over 300,000 naira within a week after the event. And that gave me something. And I keep telling that one of the things I tell those that are coming up is, see, if you know you want to do a particular thing, just do it, irrespective. When people see that you're actually doing it, they'll reach out. And that's the experience I usually give to them.
Yeah.
When I started off, people, NGO people, you started, this, and that. I used my money. I had partners that came on board. Oh, okay, I'll pay AIT for you. I'll pay NTA for you. I think that was my pastor from Lagos. Oh, don't worry. I'll ensure NTA did cover. I'll ensure AIT was there, which you paid for. Others came in like, even, I think your mom or Stephanie arranged Indomie for us, got a contact, right? So we had all of that on board, and it was a great event. Afterwards, we started seeing donations of over 300K that people sent in. So that's the people that if you want to do a particular project, at times people want to see, if I commit a naira to your hand, what are you going to do with it? If I give you 2 naira, will I get value? Will I see it? Like you actually spent
So
my
the
money.
value has to come first before
Has to come first, yes.
Seeing is believing.
So I won't entrust a billion naira to you when I know that even when I gave out 200 naira, I didn't see the essence of the 200 naira. So am I giving you more?
Yeah.
So people need to see, is this person capable of doing this particular thing? So if I entrust this much into this person, I'm sure the person is going to deliver. And if the person doesn't, like, people will also blame you too. And someone that's not done anything, you just gave. So that's why you see most of them failing. Because at the end of, just like you said, it's the money thing. And once the money comes in, I want to buy a car, I want to do this.
I mean, you see NGO owners driving
Before and
Benz
after.
I met the senator too. I said they called NGO owners to the house. Let people have money. Let people not have money. You have money. He said, do you see the cars they were driving in? That even
business class and just living life.
Even they don't. So like, it is well, because there's nothing I can say about it. Of course, I don't know how they got their money, but like I said, for every one of them that I was looking up to, starting up, most of them are not relevant to today. Not relevant. I remember that one of them called for a capacity build, I think like 2-3 years ago, and they were doing things around GBV. Now, this is an organization I know to track government expenses. Governments, like, they ensure, you said this is this.
Accountability.
Thank you. And you're doing GBV, like, what's the correlation? Gender-based violence. So you know that at the end of the day, they're losing track because they're no more relevant. Now, what you're expected of them, you're not seeing it. So now they're trying to be afloat. They're trying to be there. So anything that comes, they take.
But do you think people, like, NGOs should just focus on something specific, or they should, like, go broad? So instead of having an NGO that just focuses on gender-based violence or education or health, do you think will you find it suspicious if you're an NGO just going after everything?
Okay, so for me, it depends. Right? So for example, if what is like accountability, for example, of course, there's so many things that evolves every time. So if you're started from the federal level, you can as well extend to a state level, right? You can extend to the local government level. If you like, do to the councillor level, right? So there's no how there are not going to be new things that springs up every time in your field. If I'm doing the education, if I'm in the education sector, of course, so many things is going to spring up. You talk about giving out menstrual kits. Of course, I'll give menstrual kit because I know that in a month, girls might not be in school for like a whole week because they don't have sanitary pads. So I would definitely want to be in that line because I want to ensure that the child is in school. I also want to give health talks in school, right? I also want to talk about health because I know if your hands are not clean or you didn't clean up after using the restroom, you could get sick and may not be in school for it. Do you understand? All of those things are allowed.
So they are still
but not like you're doing and all of a sudden tomorrow we are saying you do. So it has to be related one way or the other, right? So you cannot tell me because I'm doing accountability, then I have to go into GBV. Like, what's the correlation? Every day at the National Assembly, is either passing one budget or the other. Is either something is bringing up. They just said something about empowering traditional rulers. That is where you should go in and do your accountability. What are you empowering traditional ruler for? Is it to buy a house, to buy a car, to refurbish their palace, or to do a community empowerment for the youth? There's so many things you could account and hold government owners for, right? So I'm not saying you can't of course you can, but let it be related to what you're known for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel people going out is because they're probably not relevant at the end of the day. You're just trying to be there. So that is, if an organization comes back tomorrow and be like, let's just consider, I think we've used them for like, okay, they're still existing.
Hmm.
That is what I feel most of them are doing right now. So it's not like because they don't have what's it called? Of course, I'm sure the funding is not there, but let us still be in place so that when
In case
somebody
in case
comes in,
Yeah.
yes, they'll be like, okay, this person still exists.
Just
I
doing
think
something.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
think,
so maybe, sorry, Joanna. No, sometimes you can just hear, they say they are giving NGO money in this
Yeah.
sector.
So you're not
you
just
just
jumping.
quickly run to
Ourselves.
it.
And then maybe you don't get anything. So it's mostly about jumping ships,
Mhm.
looking for positioning, and then
Yeah.
just trying to find a way to just, because the money seems to be the
The drive.
major form, the
Motivation.
drive for
Yeah.
them, not actually any form of value. So I mean, it's something that is common. But before, I know you don't wanted to ask a question, but I was wondering, when you, I mean, you have your own NGO. I mean, 5 years is quite a very long time to
Yeah.
remain consistent with the economy, with everything like that. But when you say partnership, so do you turn some partners down because you feel it's like
Does it align?
It's what you're
Doesn't
doing.
align with what we do.
is it, I mean, because for example, you say you have to go through screening from DSS, EFCC to ensure that okay, you are not going to be used as for money laundering. So do you
Okay.
sometimes you feel as if this person's money is poisonous? So, have you turned down somebody's money and say, thank you, but no thanks?
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of things,
Wow.
even during COVID. So you hear things like, I have this uncle abroad that wants to but when I just start hearing but I'm like, okay, thank you. Because I know I've worked so well than for me to just jeopardize it because of one small money. I beg.
Mhm.
It might be a whole lot. You hear thousands of dollars. In fact, I might tell you it's coming in like $1 million, $2 million. But for a start, I'm like, okay.
Like you already know their lingo.
I'll just tell you, I would have to speak with the board of that. And Lola, but we thought, I said, yes, I know, but still, not be only me did the organization now.
Yeah.
So I still need to reach out to the board. That is my own way of turning it up because I feel I've worked so hard to get the organization to where it is
Yeah.
than for maybe FBI is not looking for me. And I'm gonna be like, I know
Your
Lola.
boy used to do picker, and you say,
I know it's easier for them to come in through an NGO because
Yes.
you have to account, and most of them are usually even greedy. Because that was like, okay, let me even listen to what this one has to say. Like, so we're going to send you so amount of money, but you have to send back, like I think said almost 95% of the money. And I was like, okay, so I thought you said the money is meant to be for do a community project. So what are we now going to do the project? Like, because you can't, how do you account for? Okay, let me even say, for example, like we're giving you this 100,000 naira to rebuild a school, for example. What can we do with 100,000 naira? And I'm giving you back 95,000 naira. So what am I using 5,000 naira to build? So at the end of the day, like, so in the end, you should know you're going to do it in your books and all of that. Like, wow, that's nice. Sorry. Now, like, of course, you have to be diplomatic. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. I'll get back to you, but let me speak to the board. Let me hear what the board agrees.
unless the board says no. You didn't say no, but the board says no.
The board says no.
Then we'll get back to you. And Lola, but guy, no be my understand. I need to speak to the board. Anything the board says, I'll get back to you. It's not an issue. So most of them, you just have to be. A whole lot of them does that. So you already know where they're coming in from, what angle they're coming in from. And there's some that might look like, you start praising the government. Or more. There's some that I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Last year, education convergence was in Ogun State in partnership with the Ogun State government.
Mhm.
And of course, people were like, you start doing, I like, see, they give us free all cultural center. In fact, 2 months after, somebody walked up to me and was telling me, Lola, I saw that you did something in cultural center. Like, yes, please, how can I get to that? She's been trying to lobby and I said, in my head, so this is what I got on a platter of gold.
Gold.
And somebody that stays in the States, close to the States, can't even get it.
Yeah.
Close to the venue, rather, can't even get it. And me from Abuja, I got it. In fact, I didn't even know the value of the hall or the place I was in. Like, it's not open to any help person.
Oh.
In fact, either you get the letter from the governor or any of the commissioners or anyone in the cabinet before you can make use of. You have to just be a prominent person to make use of the hall. And this was something we got on the platter of gold. So most of the time, you have to weigh it too. what's in for me is not just to tell the governor, thank you for this opportunity, then thank the commissioner for education for supporting the. It's not
Finish.
hard now. Well, thank you. So you have to just weigh it.
Yeah.
Look at the future. Oh, okay. So if I get this grant or this money from this particular person, tomorrow FBI is looking for you, what will happen?
Yeah.
Or I partner with the government. It's not just say thank you, sir, and thank you, ma. But I know that at the end of the day, we had over 400 children imparted.
Oh.
We had children go home with stuff. In fact, we did panel discussion, which is even forming what we are going to be doing for International Children's Day this year. And children were expressing themselves and telling the PAMSEC what they feel education should look like in the States.
Oh,
That is enough for me.
Yeah.
I really don't care if government is involved or commissioner or the governor.
You're not political.
Yeah.
You are just
don't.
focused
Yes,
on
I'm just looking
results.
at the children. Education is on point. They're able to express themselves. This type of our teachers are boring at this. Like, thank you. Be telling the palm saying, Mama, shame go. I hear what they are saying. That is for me.
Yeah.
And we had the NDLEA commandant. In fact, she called me earlier. She said, Lola, if you have anything in Ogun State, don't forget to. For me, that's something. Because this
Yeah.
is something I wouldn't get on a this is something I wouldn't even dream of getting.
Yeah.
But it's not like people that, even when I'm not even thinking about doing stuff, they're reaching out. An NDLEA commandant in a state reaching out and saying, Lola, in case I have anything this year, but even if, because we move states from one state to another, so we not have that particular event in Ogun State for this year.
No.
So, but at least it opens the opportunity to partner.
Yeah.
And they know that, okay, if there's anything, we can always call Lola for this particular thing. And we know she will deliver. So.
Because I think building.
So 5 years, like I just wanted to ask, what is one thing? Was there any day you felt like, you know what, it's been good, it's been great, impact has been made. Let's call it a day. Was there any day, and how did you get through that?
I think there's been so many days, like
Wow.
so many. I can't even think of so many days. That days I'll be like, who sent you? Like, who sent you? Can I just live a normal life?
Just
Dear
get
Oga
one 9 to
Madam,
5.
do you understand? 9 to 5. Although Oga Madam, they'll be like, Madam, maybe if you carry your bag, open, maybe you're not just open one supermarket for me. And I'll wear boob and be going, they'll be carrying my bag for me. You know, and as against me putting myself out there and all of that. But there's something people told me when I was starting in this space. Like, Lola, you're a lady. Get ready to be sexually harassed.
Wow.
Get ready. So I heard that like a whole lot. So I was ready. Right? I know it was going to come in one way or the other. It is just so let me say I was already mentally prepared.
Yeah.
I had to reach out to a few people before and ask, okay, I want to start off this. What am I meant to do? Am I meant to do this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, this is my advice. So, as a young girl, starting off our own NGO, are you ready for this? Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to do that? So, of course, I've seen that happen like so many times, even as local government chairman. So, after, so until Alpha now, like, Alpha what, sir? Because I already knew where the conversation is driving at.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, hey, I'm bringing something for your people that you would benefit. Tomorrow, I won't be here. The only legacy might be that in partnership with you being the local government chairman, this innovation
This
or
happened during your
empowerment
tenure.
or whatever was brought to you. So I don't think I owe you anything.
Yeah.
Right? So it's either it's a yes or a no. And if you don't agree, I think it's another community. Like, it's as simple as that. So you can't tie me down because you felt you're the one doing me a favor. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not doing you a favor. So don't turn the table around. But of course, I have to be diplomatic about it and be like, sir, you know what? Just do it and go. It's not like, are you now married? I've heard that so many times. I don't see ring now. So don't worry, it's invisible in our church. No need to wear ring. Because you just have to scale through. And people will be like, it's just 5-10 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I've also learned that will not defile me. I tell people something that it's, if others are getting it through that way, I want Lola to be an example that she didn't get to the top that way. So others don't have to. I said this at Yali National Conference last year when I was the panelist. I said, see, if others are sleeping their way through as a lady, please don't. I've started like so many examples.
Mm-hmm.
If I one was when I was going to start the organization, there was this very famous radio presenter in Abuja, like very famous. In fact, he
Oh.
does his comedy show every year at Transcorp. Transcorp. So for you to know how famous
Mm.
and big he is. So the conversation was already start
Going towards
leaving
that direction.
from the okay, so what do you want me to do on the day of your launch? What publicity do you need to so are you now a this? Can we I'm like that was the first and that was the second and the last time I went to the office for anything because I knew the conversation was already getting something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Immediately after the lunch, a friend who was one of the um intern that went with the president, that's the last president for UN general meeting abroad. Came back like, hello, Lola, sorry I couldn't make it to your this. Please let's sit out. I'm like, okay, so we did. And I said, Lola, what next? And I was like, I don't even know, but I had so many donations. People were
Yeah.
giving clothes and all. Like, okay, so my organization is this or it works with this organization owned by Obesity and they do like environmental stuff. So would you
Yeah.
like for us to go clean up one of the IDP camps? Then in return, you give all those donations of clothes, shoes, and food items you have. Like, why not?
Oh.
Then he ended the conversation with, I'm coming with Adiza. I don't know who she was, to be sincere. I'm like, okay, no problem. After that day, the lady came, we all vibed, talked, did what we were meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, can you come to Radio Nigeria? Like, okay. Then she did the interview. When she sent the link and told me the stations it was going to be played
Mm-hmm.
and said, you can tune in to this station by so time and this. And she had all the states in Nigeria. And
Wow.
I was wowed. Now imagine if I had probably let my guard down and said, okay, sleep with the other guy. It's just Abuja coverage. Might probably not even get the one that will say, come to Radio Nigeria and you're having the coverage. We had people calling from as far as Calabar and say, we heard what you're doing. We'd like to be a part of. And that was how we had volunteers in 25 states.
Wow.
And I tell people I've never been to 25 states in Nigeria. Right?
Yeah.
But all they have to do is, oh, I see what you're doing. I saw you're going to do this. Can I be your state? You see people begging to be state coordinator. And in my head, I'm like, do you even know the person that is?
Yeah.
It's just one small girl. There's not even a proper, but people give it that look like, oh, it's a proper organization with this and that, and would like to associate with the organization. So I'm like, oh, okay, so let's do this. So like, so so that we can do it though. We can do it in this state though. And like, then I'll just have to send them resources or materials and they carry it out and send back reports and we put that online, right? So I just thought about it that if I had done that, probably the reach would have just been Abuja.
Yeah.
Another one is I run another organization called African Youth Lead Initiative. To be sincere, last year, anyone that knows me last year, I was really vying for a political appointment. Like, okay, I really don't want to be a voice from outside. I want to be a voice from within.
Yeah.
And for everyone I reach out to, be like, what did you do? What did you do? Were you loyal? Were you this? Of course, you know the loyal parts now. Were you part of those people that were helping us to drag them online? Were you like, I don't really have to be all of that too. So of course it wasn't coming in. So I just left. Then I remember early November, I had someone come in who happens to be a very good friend. He's the essay to Ogun State Governor Youth. And when he came in, we were at the National Assembly together to congratulate. That was when they were having screenings for the ministers of youth. He was his friend. And so he told me to, let's go so that he can introduce me to the minister and all of that. And there, so remember one other young guy, like, these are the young guys that are holding Abuja now. And you be calling me in as far as Ogun State to be asking for contact and this. Please, this my sister be putting her through and please, this call should be calling me. Let her be calling you and her. But that day we couldn't meet with the minister till he left because minister, of course, it was a busy period. They had to do their whatever. So we didn't meet and he left. So the other guy was still checking up and like alpha. So he kept asking we should hang out. And I knew something was off. But I didn't. Okay, let's go. Then we did. And the next thing was going to be, I know you wanted this. I can introduce you to the minister. He's my guy. He was even showing me chat on the phone of how the relate and all. I was like, that's so for me out of curiosity, like, so what do you want in return? Papa said nothing, no. Just vibes and inshallah. What's vibes and inshallah? What's vibes and inshallah? I was like, all right, no problem, we'll talk. And that was how I left. I intentionally didn't check back or call back because I knew.
Yeah.
And I tell myself that if you're sleeping your way to get an appointment, it means you don't deserve it. Because you will also be looked down on and say, this is how you got it.
People will find out, yeah.
So what's the point in the first place? So I didn't check up. 2 weeks later, the organization was meant to celebrate African Youth Day. And so I had a friend from Sierra Leone called in. It was actually with his minister. And he called me on WhatsApp. Lola, I'm with my minister now. And I told him what you're doing in Nigeria for African youth, blah, 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 blah. So he put me on call with the minister and we spoke. And like, oh, they're having something in Sierra Leone. They would like to invite me. Like, Then later on, I just called the guy like, guy, I'm having African Youth Day. Can your minister be or like one of the speakers at the virtual event? And I'm like, yes. So he gave me the minister's contact where I've been. Then I just thought about, we have minister in our country. I just called another friend, like, how accessible is this our minister for you? Like, he's very accessible now. Like, can you hear me talk? He said, no, that I beg. Me and him, we don't, but I can give you his contact. And he did. Now, the minister was meant to be on the virtual meeting. We gave him time. So I'll be here by 9:30. Your speech is meant to be for 15 minutes. Then maybe another 5 minutes for question and answer and all. The minister was on the call from 9 a.m. and did not leave till 10 a.m. And he was still there to listen to the other minister from Sierra Leone speak and take questions. Like, he was there.
Yeah.
Something of 15 minutes. He spent over an hour with us on the call. And so few weeks later, the ministry had their own African Youth Day event. So I attended. Then I went to meet him in person. Like, sir, good day. The founder of African Youth Initiative. Thank you for being a this. I was like, that was a great thank you, sir. Like, I thought you're not in Nigeria. I was like, so I'm here. They was like, oh, did you what was it called? Are you resident in Abuja? I was like, yes, I am. Please, my office, do you have my number? But call me at any time. My office is open to you. I'm this and that. So now at that point, I said, I want to work with you. But now he was the one saying, Lola, I'm working with you. In fact, I'm on 2 of his projects already. Working with him. I'm going to the ministry tomorrow now to do that. Working with him. So now, I could have just left with that uncle of early November. But less than 2
without
weeks
any
after.
guarantee of him doing anything. No. Because once they are done, they'll ghost you. And
it was so good. Lola, I've seen everybody on the ministers this. Nobody is as good. I've seen you now. Maybe you travel, you do this. Everybody on this list, one more, like, vibes and inshallah. I said, no problem. But 2 weeks down the line, I'm already conversing with the minister. I can call at any time.
Yeah.
He gives me contact and, sir, I would like to meet with this person. I don't know if you will send immediately. Oh, okay, and I just met with him. But 2 weeks or less than a month before, all of that. So I tell people that if probably you've been or people and you felt like that's the only way, you won't even be relevant at the end of the day. I think that's the word for me. But just be true to it. That days I go to bed crying because it felt like, it's not just 5-10 minutes. It's not just this. But it's about it. Doesn't make sense. I'd rather do it the right way, get the right results, and stay relevant than you messing yourself around. Ever like, that's how she does.
That's who she is. But what's your take?
I mean,
that's not who I am.
You have to keep doing it to sustain it.
Yeah, that's
get
so
another
for how
position.
long?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But what's your take on mentorship? Because like when you kept on talking now, I was just thinking about mentorship. So how do you think mentorship is really important for someone starting off in this field, especially for women, seeing that a whole lot can go on being a lady in this field?
Okay, so for me, mentorship plays a whole lot of good roles, right? Like I said, starting off, I had to reach out to people. I was volunteering, right? In fact, I had a friend who owns an organization there as an NGO. And I think when he was to go for his master's, he made me, what was it called? Like an acting director for him. So I was able to like do one or two things. And even when I started off from the launch, we were like, oh, this must have been your third or your fourth. I'm like, it's written launch. Because they're like, oh, this was too good for someone just starting off. But it was experiences over the years and just working with people. So one thing I tell people is don't put money first in everything.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person, it's not like what's it called? It's not like I don't value my time and all. But still, I'd rather if I have time and all, be at your event. If I have if I'm not doing anything, I'd rather like attend something or assist you in doing a particular thing. Because I know one way or the other I will learn one or two things from you.
Yeah.
So but everybody wants, if I come now, how much are people paying me?
What am I going to do?
Volunteering is meant to people in Nigeria, people will getting the money and you not give us. And I'll be laughing like, should I show you my account? Like this project is not even funded. Like I know how I have to, ensure, but everybody comes on board and be like, Lola, I would like to work with you. I'm like, fine, awesome. But I know deep down that you may not last. But we'll vibe you through. Then, in the next 2-3 they are not there. I'm like, I understand. But one thing about me, it's not like I will tell you to come and not give you like transport fare or not make provision for lunch or something.
Yeah.
It will be there. But people want more. Everyone wants like ASAP money.
Yeah.
So they feel like, just like I said, NGO has money. But now you don't know how other people are actually staying relevant or trying as much as they can to ensure that they give back.
Yeah.
Right? I'm the kind of person that if I put out that I want to have an event on so date, if I say I'm looking for 1 million naira to carry out the project and I only got 50,000 naira, as far as I'm concerned, I already had partners that will make you work one way or the other. One thing I tell my mentees is, if you want to do a particular project, do your budget. Assign monetary value to it. When you are done, sit back. Your plan, that's your plan A. Give it to people, let them give you money. Your plan B should be, who are the partners that will take out every of these line item?
Yeah.
If I'm giving books to 1 million people, which organization is known for giving out notebooks? You just write to them and seek for their partnership. Which one is good with feeding? How many eateries can I reach out to tell them this is what I want to do? Please, will you want to use it as a corporate social responsibility to feed so number of children during my event? If it is what else, school bag, if it means you walking to that market lady or guy making school bag, taco market, madam, go. I don't know if you get. So if they're giving for a value of like 100, maybe 10,000 naira in the market, if you say, I know it's an NGO thing, be 1,000 naira material money, I go sew am for you. If it's the 100,000 I got out of the 1 million and that can sew maybe 20 or 50 school bag, better do. I don't know if you get. So that's what I do. That should be your plan B in case there was no fund or funding coming. Who else can I walk up to? And you have to be doing the two concurrently. So if you're sourcing for fund from this place, in case one other thing, and you see people be like, in this your line item, I'll do banner. Thank you. Banner money is out of it.
Yeah.
So if you can do it that way, you don't, at the end of the day, like I said, even if it's 1 area that comes in, I'll do that project with whatever resources I have. So if I'm that kind of person, and I have volunteers that are expecting to be in the line item now, you put 10,000 naira as volunteer fee. Where's the money?
Yeah.
You will always meet people like that.
Yeah.
So everybody feels like, and I saw the budget though. In fact, we were going to meet people together.
Yeah.
They've paid her now, she's not paying us. Even though you tell them and be like, no money came in. Some of them will not believe. So at the end of the day, you're not seeing them tomorrow. So I already know that they were there for the money.
Okay.
I'm following you because I know that at the end of this following, 10,000 naira at least will be in my pocket. But at the end of the day, it didn't come in. So will I say because I didn't get the funding and I had partners who were willing to donate or give 1 or 2 things, I won't do the project? Of course I will. I'll go ahead. So as I said, I've seen so many people come in and be like, I like what you do. You're doing so well. How can I, like, you're free to come on board. Then I just knew, like I said, I'm already used to people coming and going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, if you're there, if you're still here, fine. If you're not here,
we know.
I heard.
So
you're
let's
already
talk
giving
about
us
your your school a little bit. No, sorry, Joanna. I remember that she has a school now. I wanted to also reminisce a little bit. I know when we first worked together then with Lens Law, we had some of our team members that came over to you work in multiple IDPs. So I would love to know which IDPs you work. And then I know you also have a school now. And so tell us more about this, your free school. I mean, how easy, how has it been? So because I mean, you are doing many projects, having lectures, you are doing these trainings, you are doing a lot tied to education. How has it been? Why did you decide, okay, let me have a school, let me have a free school? So why do you have a free school and how has it been about that?
Okay, so the free school is going to start from the Sanosis. We got a grant from the former Emir of Kano, and that was to ensure okay, what we pitched in the grant was basic education for indigent children, mostly IDP camp children. So we got the grant, and then we didn't have a school, and we had to channel it into the existing schools on the camp. Now, but one thing, just like I said, accountability. So if you give me a particular money to the particular project and I can't account for it, even I will not sleep. Because I feel like what if it's your own money you give out and you're not seeing value for it? Now you go back to the school and ask questions, the books we gave out, this, and they can't account for it. Of course, you can't monitor because it is not your thing. You can't be there every time and be asking questions, even though you're the one bringing in the money. You've not met some people like, how much did you even bring? Do you know what other people are bringing? So there's a little to what you can do. There's a little to how you can ask questions and know. So I just thought about it that, okay, it's not fight though. I think we should set up one. And another thing I noticed with the campus, there were multiple schools. So, and it was already driving to the fact that we want to do something so that people see we are doing something. I didn't want that. I wanted real value. I wanted it to be something that when people come and be like, these guys are learning. These children they were at point A when I came in, and I'm back here, they're at B, C, or D. And I told the team, okay, let's look for a camp with no school at all. Since most of the ones in town, they were, in fact, you can see as much as 5-6 schools on a particular camp, which is fine. I want one that there's none at all. So at least we can drive right impact in the school. The day we went to the camp, that was last year's International Day of Education. I didn't, of course, we were conversing with the camp chairman and like, I just told him, okay, this is what we want to do. We've been having conversation, they've given us the location we're going to use and all. But that particular day, I already had another partner who was asking, so what are you guys doing for this? They're like, this is what I have in mind. But I'm not doing flyer or anything yet. Don't worry, we'll do report after. Because the plan was, I actually want to get to the camp and ensure that I have the true number of out-of-school children. Of course, going by the years and working with these people, you will know they don't give you true figures. So if I go to a particular location and I said, I want those not in school now. Of course, anyone in school, you won't withdraw the child to come back from school. So I went in around, I think 9 or 10. That was when we got to the camp. And we said, we want those not in school to come in. And we had close to 300 of the children.
300?
If not more than. Yes.
Wow.
If not more than. But now, due to space and all, we could only accommodate 100. They actually, I think there's another open space we are thinking. Of course, if we get funding, we'll turn it into a classroom. So we have, because every day you have more parents coming in and seeking. Now, even when we're doing the assessment for the children, we have parents coming to say, their child is in primary this or SS, and they're like, not because it's a free school. They have to demote your child. So it took a whole lot. It took a whole lot of talking to the parents, talking to the camp stakeholders, and all. Even when we started off the school, the kids were nonchalant about it. And like I said, I understand due to where they were coming from and all. And one day I got so angry, like, I can't be telling people we have 100 children in school. And today I'm coming in, we have 50, 60, or 70, or even less than, like, I had to call their parents. I like tomorrow, everyone, both the one that are in school today and the one that are not in school, tell your parents to come in tomorrow. And they already had like the school uniform, the school kits we are going to give to them. So we now have like, okay, maybe because they weren't looking like a proper school. So that's why they were feeling nonchalant about it. Okay. Now that there's fund to get to school bag, school shoes, school uniform and like a proper school, people should act like one. So we did the call for what's it called? Their parents to come in and
Did
all
a
of that.
PTA meeting?
Like a PTA meeting.
Okay.
Then we had a conversation. We had to talk to the parents. The kids, if they look dirty to school, I'll send them back personally. I'll do this, I'll do that. They have to take their baths when they come back from school before they go to bed. They have to do their homework. Even though we understand that some of you may not be able to help them, please look for someone else that will. We had to do a whole lot of talking and talking. Well, now, the day Momsy came in and she brought water bottle for them. And that's one of the things because I really like when they go out and to drink water and how it looks so, for me, it wasn't looking healthy. And God knows I didn't have that conversation with my mom. And when she came visiting, she bought water bottle for all of them.
Oh.
So when she came, she was like, "Are you sure this water bottle will go around?" They're like, they're not plenty. So because in my head, I was like, I was already used to maybe they will not. And she kept, they were giving and giving. And she were like, Momsy, you have to order another one. So that's how I knew that, okay, so they actually took this thing serious. I wasn't really cognizant that if they were actually up to that. I think that we had like 97 of them
Wow.
in school. And in the space of the few hours I was there, I had like two parents come in. Madam, no vex, so my child don't come today. She know well. And now I came in sick in the. I like, okay, no problem. Like, I didn't know this thing had.
So parents were now becoming more responsible.
Yes,
I mean, because now it's now like a normal school. So that you're
If
not
you
paying
do
doesn't mean
anyhow,
you
you
still
say
you still have to behave as if at
In
least
fact,
organized.
I had to even threaten them. I said, if your child does not come in and you didn't come to school to tell us why the child is not in school, we'll come to your house, we'll collect everything and give it to another child.
That's 200
And
other students.
of course.
Yeah, they are just.
There are other children that would likely want to be here and want it because every day, almost every day, you have parents coming in and begging. In fact, the chairman was like that in case people come to the camp and ask them what they want, he will actually propose that space so that we could have more
Another
classrooms.
class.
So you can't now be part of those that have the privilege and you give it
Be doing
nonchalant
anyhow,
attitude.
yeah.
You collect
that's actually
everything
true.
and give it to other children. So that way, the parents we now made like a community thing. So everyone wants to be in school. If there's no school, one teacher will come and say, I should like, this one, the children are in my house. I said, sorry, tell them no school today. Because they're already used to the fact that they come in. And we try as much as we can also to give, I think today we posted online the free the
Feeding.
lunch they had.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is we cook food for
You
them.
give
Buy
them lunch also.
lunch.
Wow.
Buy snacks or
That's a
do
lot.
biscuit and it encouraged them to come to school, my dear.
Yeah.
But how is that sustainable?
Because in this economy where things are like
Yeah.
prices are going high really fast.
Okay, so most of the time, like I said, there are days where you take maybe cake to school.
Mm-hmm.
The following day, the school is
Full.
the days they share biscuits, the next day. So and it's not just with them, it's almost everywhere.
Yeah.
When it has to do with looking at a certain what's it called? Type of children we are looking at.
Yeah.
It's like we are begging you to come to school, directly or indirectly. Even though we try to put up that face with our parents that we are not doing us a favor, we are not doing you a favor. But in the real sense of it, they're actually the one. But you have to be diplomatic and be begging them one way or the other. Just come to school because we don't want you to grow up and be a nuisance to the society. Don't affect other people.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So one way or the other, if it means you buying biscuits for you to stay in school,
I
buy.
think that is why we have the school feeding program. So because so sometimes it's not even their fault they don't want to come to school.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
if you don't eat yesterday,
If you've not
you don't want
eaten,
to learn. So
Yes,
but
no.
not from the gratitude. I mean, okay, yes, I know I will get biscuits in school, but I also need that biscuits.
Yes.
I generally need that
Definitely.
biscuit so that because I've not eaten also. So I think it's but with the way things are getting costlier, I mean, like Joanna asked, how sustainable can would that be? So is it like a fixed thing that okay, yeah, so we feed them whether it's full lunch or snacks and stuff, just to ensure that they keep coming. So how are you able to sustain
Okay, so
that?
most of the time, it's when we have it depends on the resources at hand. If it's to buy biscuits, we buy. There are days we have to buy those cabin biscuits, those plenty one that you take to
Yeah.
It's what we can afford to do. I know obvious. But there are days that I've had some people come and we're like, well, I didn't know. Oh, yeah, take this 10,000, please buy biscuits for the without we even telling you that is what we do.
Yeah.
Then you see other people come in on campus to distribute one or two things to the children, and maybe in the park they're coming in with Capri-Sun and biscuit or sweets for them. At least you know that will kill. This one is. I think there was a particular one I was like, I was even looking for. Will I even get me into bed? I had it in mind I was going to get them something. Then the NGO that was coming in to give them learning material actually came with Capri-Sun, biscuit and sweet. I'm like, hey, thank you,
Answered
Jesus. Not like, so most of the time that's how it's sustained. And also we had to, the best thing means to do what's it called? Adoption. Directly or indirectly.
Okay, yeah.
So I had to say, please adopt a child for 10K. The adoption is you're just paying the child's school fees just to ensure the child is in school. So when we gave out the form, some people opted to pay 10K every month, while some opted to pay term per term rather. So every term I'll give you 10,000. While some say every month I'll give you 10,000. So that way we're able to pay teachers' salary, then do other administrative things, then of course the snacks thing and other things. So.
I think that's nice.
Okay.
Then
I just wanted to add that I think it's also a motivating factor for the parents as well, because when there's no food at home, it's like
Yes,
they don't want
to
to.
eat in school.
They're not great.
carry your
Go to
things
school,
and
go
go
and
to
eat in
school and go
school.
and eat in
Yeah.
school. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
Oh, that's quite wonderful. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Because you kept on mentioning the parents. So there's this perception that we have in Nigeria that people in the north are not so into the education thing. But like when you were just talking now, you said that parents kept on. I mean, you had 300 students coming when you announced these things. Don't you think that, contrary to the perception that's being painted about these people, don't you think that deep down they actually yearn for a change in their lives? They're yearning for education. Or do you think that purposely these people are just being desensitized of the importance of education by, I don't want to make assumptions, but yeah.
So it goes both ways.
Okay.
So I'm going to say this. Remember I said initially the what's it called? They were giving nonchalant attitude about it. The kids come to school looking so dirty. At times I enter the class like, why are they smelling? Like, what's this? And I'll be like, don't you guys talk to them, because I get hungry. But trust me, when we had a conversation with the parents, they all sat up. So I'll even tell you, if you know your child has rashes or something, don't send them to school.
Yeah.
Treat the child before bringing it. But that's the thing. That's the right thing to do. So I think it has to be conversation. So let's converse about it almost every time.
Yeah.
I tell people that if you want a change in anything, just keep talking about it. One day it will stick.
Yeah.
It might look like it's taken forever. Of course, it's normal. But one day, you might come and tell me today and say, Lola, stop doing this. If I'm not seeing a reason why I should stop, I will continue.
Yeah.
Till the day I see a reason to stop doing that particular thing, then I will. But if you don't give me a reason why I feel education is important, I'd rather be at home, sleeping or helping my parents on the farm, or I help them work during school hour, just so you know. But making them see reason why education is important. And I'm saying, just bring the child. That's what I tell them. Just bring. I'm not saying bring one error. As little as their pencil, they don't bring to school. As little as pencil, they don't bring to school. Almost every time, Auntie, my book has finished. Give me the old one. Let me see. Because I don't want it to be a situation whereby, because there's so much book or there's so much pencil, so you misplace it or you don't give value to it.
Yeah.
So I needed to be sure that one is actually finished. Do you understand? So we're not making them feel like it is there in essence, just come and take. No.
Okay.
Somebody is paying for it. And that's what we told the parents too. It is not free. Somebody is paying for it. And they have to get value for the money.
Yeah.
So when you tell them somebody as the former emir of Kano, Sanusi is, of course, they're like, so, they feel like directly or indirectly, the emir is having an impact, because that is the people they value.
Yeah.
So when you make them see reason like this particular person is, I tell them, maybe we'll tell them learn inspired from Dubai. hey, my child was benefit because it's coming from, I don't know if you get,
Yeah.
Learning Space is in town, and they're the biggest this when it has to do with education, and they're giving your children this. If they don't want, we'll give another person. Do you think they won't value? They will. So it has to do with information. It has to do with you making me see reason why I should get educated.
Yeah.
Initially, we had, I think, 2 months or 3 months into when we started off this, we had 2 kids that stopped coming. Lottie had to go to their house and ask. One said, our daughter was the one that said she wants to get married. Kaja was just 13 years old. And when she said that, of course, she had a conversation with her. Then I went to school during the week when I do my routine check to the schools. Then I called her. I said, come here. Why do you want to get married? Saying to not be me. I said, they've told me everything. Just come clean. So from the conversation, I realized that our friends in the community were married. So it felt like she's the odd one out.
Yeah.
So while you are in school, we were at home forming Oga Madam, giving like of course, you know them. Once you're married, there's a certain respect they give to you, irrespective of your age. You're somebody's wife, so they respect you. Even if you're 12 years old and you're married, you get that respect of someone that is married, like a 40-year-old woman. So it felt like she's a child to those she plays with. She wants to get married. So it has to take a whole lot of reorientation, talking, and making her see reason why she should stay and not be bothered about her friends being married and all of that. In fact, I think I said I was writing a book in that line.
Yeah, you did.
Right? Then the other lady, her bride price was already paid for. And I had to make parents understand. It's not by paying bride price. But it is what do you want for your child in the future? Even you as a person. Mama, sorry, no verso. Is it by the 1 cup of rice or 1 mudu of rice the husband will give you every Friday? That I know that it feels like immediate what's it called?
Gratification.
Return, yes, or gratification. But
Instant.
see, delay a bit. It is not hard. At least I get something for the future. Nobody even knows what the future holds.
Yeah.
So we start giving instances like, say the commissioner for this now woman, and I'm from that state. No be born you say you come, you see now. We're not making them start using like even this idea where they had movie for Kano. She been saying na Kano na come from. It is if she no go school, she go day screen. She no go want me your child today screen. See first lady now. Now this thing see. Now don't say na first lady. How you not think say she dey speak correct Oyinbo? If she no go school, I think say she go fit day national TV. They talk to us. Maybe now they listen for radio. So when you make them, you talk to them like that and
I see that there's
they see
more
everything
and
that there's
value
more
in
to
it.
it.
Because girls, girl child education, actually, I know it's something that your NGO also
Yes.
is very much actively involved in. Like focusing, yes, in your school, for example, now, the population, there are more girls because you will find out that sometimes when you take a traditional school, the normal ones now, normal schools, whether public or private, you have more of boys and girls. But when you take these schools to locations where by default, because these IDPs actually are like their homes. So it's like, this is my house, that is my school. So it's like bringing close to them. These kids that, okay, yes, you are a child, you are a girl, but maybe there is already the perception or the idea that, okay, you don't go to school, just get married. So, but bringing these things close to them, you are able to at least have more, because I think many times people have it has been seen that, okay, when you actually bring learning close to these communities, you have more girls. Traditionally, in most schools in the West, in the Southwest, there are more ladies, more girls than boys. When you come to the North, it's like this is the reverse. So, but it's nice to see that, okay, your NGO is able to at least show them examples of, okay, if you want to, don't just be satisfied with being a married, a housewife, kind of. Think beyond, okay,
there's more.
There is more that you can achieve as a female person, as a girl.
As educated.
I think culture also plays a major role in it because, like you said, you're coming from the West. If you're not going to school, I know there's that perception of Yoruba people like education.
The community will ask you, you didn't go to school?
Yeah, but in the North, you see that is
a
this
norm.
thing and is the statistics, and like you said, is I feel like it's from a place of misinformation aside culture. It's like, okay, we are going to school and then what? And then even like having so many children, there are so many challenges, and that's even one of the questions I want to ask you. Like, aside, okay, we get them to come, they're in school. Like, there are other factors. I mean, IDP camps, they are mostly from, crisis and all of that.
Yeah.
The trauma, like dealing with all that, and then like violence, sexual violence, even within the camps,
camp.
because that's something that I always hear about. Any
Yeah.
camp you go to, you always hear about
Yeah.
it. So like all those factors, how do they come to your table? Like running a school, do they come to your table, and how do you handle them?
So definitely we have cases. In fact, I think last week was when we had the International Women's Day, and we decided to do this in the community. And that was one of the things we spoke to them about, sexual and gender-based violence.
Yeah.
And I remember that day, don't send your female child anyhow during late hours. And or even me with my estates being in town, and I come back, maybe that times I'm coming back late and I'm seeing a very young girl on the street. I'll be like, where's your mommy? Because that's first thing that struck me. You can't just send a 10-year-old very late at night, even if it's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I had a friend say it's just it. They said I know it's just it, but still, it's still too late for you to send a girl. If anything happens, of course, we live in a society where the first question, where is the mother? Right? What was she wearing? Where
The
was
blame
she?
is on the girl.
Yeah.
The blame is on the girl, right? And the parents to be like, it's not just for you to go there and put the blame also on the girl. But forgetting the fact that it starts from you, the mother. Over the years, when we do our menstrual hygiene months, most of the thing I usually try to infuse is with sexual and gender-based violence, home and school related sexual and gender-based violence, because it is not just in the school, it happens at home, right? So when we tell students like, oh, when you get molested at home, please ensure you tell somebody that you can trust at home, then also come to tell in school.
Yeah.
Now, if it happens in school, ensure there's somebody you can also relate with in school, and you ensure you tell at home too, because that's to go both ways. Somebody has to speak up for you.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be the one to say, this happened, right? And I'm not going to sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
But now we already live in a society where children already even feel judged. Before we start the exercise, one of the things we tell the children to do is close your eyes. Everybody. Now, how many of you would boldly tell your mom or dad if anything happens? If a guy asks you out, if a guy touches you indiscriminately, if a lady touches you as a guy indiscriminately, or in a way that is not appropriate and not, how many of you, see in a class of 50, I think we say 5 children raise up their hand. How many of you will tell your mom, like, okay, now let's go each parent basis? How many of you will tell your mom, maybe just 3, 4? How many of you will tell your dad, maybe just 1 or 2 in a class of 50? And I'm like, okay, everyone, it's fine. Open your eyes. Then ask generally, why? I'll be judged. I'll be this. I'll be that. I'm like,
They'll beat me.
they'll beat me.
Yeah.
They'll think I'm lying.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear things like that, how will you boldly go tell your parents this happened? Now you hear cases like, and for the parents, probably they're not conscious. So a girl maybe goes home to tell the mom or dad and say, this happened, right? Maybe you live in a house that have multiple rooms, or face might slap you that you call it. Then what was it called? Then maybe you're just walking down the corridor and one uncle just eats you inappropriately, and you go back to tell your mom that this is what happened. Now, instead of the mom approaching the brother down the road or in this, like, you too, when you be wearing bomb shorts around, or when you wear a cloth that is this and that, or maybe one day she just dresses up and what's it called? Maybe she was wearing something not so up. Instead of it, then I go back and you will come back and tell me now that one brother slapped your bum.
Yeah.
I won't tell you tomorrow if such happens, because if it means you bringing it up over and over again, it means I can't emotionally trust you with anything.
Yeah.
Not safe.
So why should I tell you when I know that in the next 2, 3, 4 months, you will bring it up and use it to insult me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not tell you. I'd rather go through it. And that's why you have the trauma thing coming, just like you said. See children wanting to commit suicide, even adults. I've had a friend that wanted to commit suicide before. It was like 3, 4 years ago. She was raped by her uncle. And that who happens to be a police officer at that time didn't say anything. In fact, her mom was saying it's a family thing. Let's cover it in house. Don't let. She has forgotten about it. In fact, she said today she still hated her dad for that, for not speaking up on her behalf and making it a family thing instead of someone you could have arrested. You are like, you are a representative of the law in our house. If you're not a police officer, I would understand. But you are. You know what to do. These are things that are reported to your office almost every day, and you wanted to make it an in-house thing and you didn't speak up for it. So she hated her dad. Now, she has gotten over it and all. Few years after, that same uncle he traveled out after the incident. Now he's coming back to Nigeria and he's coming back to their house. So it's filled up another memory and all of that, and she wanted to commit suicide. So it also has to do with the family thing. So that's why we ensure, like I said, the Women's Day thing, we have to talk to the parents. Because it's not just about telling the children what to do, how to identify a perpetrator, what you shouldn't do, and all of that. But it also has to do with the parents too.
Yeah, creating a safe space for the
We
children.
grew up in that environment where
So
I mean,
hostile.
I used to tell my friends then that I can't remember my parents telling me, "I love you, have a nice day in school."
Yeah.
I mean,
What
if
did
I
you
tell
learn
you, I love you.
today?
Is everything okay?
Is everything okay? Like, that emotional intelligence part of us was just left like
Lying dead.
even just say, you just have to wrap your head and say good
Yeah,
bye.
doing well.
So, and until when maybe sometimes they assume boy child, they
You're
want to be
strong.
tough and everything.
Yeah.
But even the girl child, there is already this stack of perception of if you wear these clothes, if you talk like this, if you smile too much, if you do this one. So, and most
giving
times
consent
these
already.
girls, they can't even trust the first person, which is their mother, their father, to actually to have their back. It's more of, I know they will blame me because they said that the mom is a deaconess, a pastor, so
You want to embarrass the family.
okay, you want to spoil my good name, you want to shame me. And I'm reporting to you something that happened to me and telling me, hey, Apostle must not hear this.
What do you
Are
think
you
about
kidding me?
us?
This is
my life.
what concerns this is
But
not
do you
about your
think-
image.
Do you think this? I feel like sometimes it may actually just be trauma that passes down, like the case of hurt people hurting others, and because they don't take time, like they don't address it, they would rather not.
say
Because
so.
it seems like a lot of parents, like the previous set of parents, there was just this hardness. There was one time it was trending on Twitter, like this whole, if your father tells you, they like even phone calls, not really having phone calls with your father, and just some of those things. So I think, in as much as I think it's from a place of they too don't know how to reach out, they don't know how to create that environment because they did not have it. So it's like a strange concept for them.
Yeah, it's actually true. I think last year, from a partnership with Women Deliver, we had to do a community capacity building for children, still sexual and gender-based violence related. And I had to tell the children, like, see, I know our parents don't tell us this. They don't relate with us, but please try creating that relationship because it has to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
How many parents do you want to talk to? How many children do you want to talk to? But if you can talk to children, please do. If you have access to parents, please do.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was already ready. Like, if I go to schools, I'll tell them, if your mom and dad did not ask you how you're doing, please tell them. Because it has to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
We can't all keep quiet and keep saying, one day
I'll
it
not
will
get
change.
it,
It
so
may
yeah.
not change.
Yeah.
If your parent did not ask, to tell them. My school went well, like, mom, this even happened in
I
school.
want to tell you
That,
something.
yes,
Yeah.
please tell them. So if I get the opportunity to speak with parents, so please ask your children, how did your school go? Did anything happen in school today? I was speaking with a friend who happens to be one of my classmates. As one of the deputy speakers, one of the states in Nigeria. He said he didn't know his child was a bully in school.
Wow.
His child is always on top of the class, is very brilliant, is good. So he thought everything was well.
Yeah.
He never asked questions. You just felt you are doing well, just like you said now. You are doing well. That's all. So anything you need, I'll give, I'll provide. He said till one day they went for PTA meeting and the school had to report to him. I said, Honorable, your child is a bully and he does this and that.
Wow.
He said he was shocked. Then the fellow thing, it was like a discussion in class. Then the fellow classmate said, that's she, they know her in our children's school. Once every day she must ask, what happened? The teacher, not even the child now, our children now, the teacher, how far? Oh, there was no problem today. Hope your child did like, no. So any day she has 1,000 naira charge cash to sense. Not because she doesn't.
Because she wants
She
to
just
know.
wants to know what's up with my children. How are they doing in school? What's happening? She said there was a time that a child had to tell the teacher, please don't tell my mom. And the teacher told her. Now, that means the teacher has already created a safe space relationship with the mom.
Yeah.
So which means irrespective of what you do as a child, I would tell your parent or your mom. So when she got home, she gave the child the beating of her life. Like, for you to tell your teacher not to tell, it means you actually did something wrong. He didn't want me to know. So that is a mother that is being conscious and say, I want to know how. She said one day, her child was even telling her, Mommy, you're slaving us away in this. And she was like, why? I said, my friend now, they have maids, they have this, they have that. So because I'm making you wash plates and do this, I'm slaving you away. Where did you even hear the English from? Like, more reason why you even do the house chores.
Yeah.
I see an intentional mother there.
Yeah.
I see a mother that wants the best for her children, that irrespective. If the society are telling you to do A and you know it is wrong, please do B because you know it's right. And one day you might be surprised that those ones you felt they were doing the right thing, or maybe in the face of every other person, it's a trend. Everybody's doing it, I must do it. But you decide to be different. They will come back to you.
Yeah.
I had friends that will be like, you be doing like SU, doing like this. I really didn't care because I knew what I wanted for myself. Now you see them come back, Lola, I just saw you on Arise TV. You're doing well, oh. Yeah. And I'll just be laughing like, we all had the opportunity, but you decided to use yours to do Slay Mama and whatever.
Yeah.
I decided to focus and say, this is what I wanted for myself. So everybody's fans are like, I just saw you on AIT now. You speak so well. And wow, they're not like the same secondary school we went to. Like even me too, I didn't know what happened to them. Do you understand? But it takes, I tell people that are growing up, I can't remember my mom beating me. I really can't remember. I can't remember maybe slapping or beating or anything. I can't. But that doesn't mean we're not disciplined. She will tell you, I gave birth to plenty girls. We're just thinking, but still, I gave birth to plenty girls. But I don't want a guy, what's it called, enticing you with some certain things.
Yeah.
She took us to our first movies. Beach outing, we were always there. I think then every Easter, we must go to the beach. That one is certain. Whether you, like, it's like a norm in the house.
Yeah.
She works at the eatery, UAC for that's Mr. Biggs and the likes.
Yeah.
That days, might just do Christmas at the eatery if you're not doing for it. Now we grew up that will be doing family members are coming into it. But then when we were much younger, we might just be going to Mr. Biggs to lick ice cream and all. She was investing something. So growing up, when people say, I'm sure you had a boyfriend in secondary school, I never did.
Because your mom
was
feels-
the
She was there.
That's
So there was nothing you want to use to entice me as a lady when I was much younger that she never did.
Yeah.
When my junior ones got to started up and they had boyfriend, she knew. In fact, if you tell her the two of you are going to the island for anything, she's not calling you as that, she's calling the guy. Alpha. So when are you guys coming? What's this and that? Of course, not that she will not allow you. She will. But she will still ask questions. So hope is this thing people aren't. Hope there was no indirectly. Hope there was no traffic. Like, Mommy, leave these people now. They are adult, they are over 18, but still, she was intentional.
Yeah.
She needed to ask what is happening. And I actually love that because growing up, I had neighbors that they were always telling our parents any little thing. Boys came to the house today, and God knows, they were just in front of the gates. Like, it's not like they entered the house that would have said, okay, your children are getting spoiled or bad, or you need to watch them. But then my dad would give us the beating of our life. Just because of that little information. But when I look back, I'll be like, I don't say maybe thank God they actually did or they did not. Of course, I think my junior ones were brought up in a way that you never heard of anything. But these are people that, when I look at their kids, they had children out of wedlock, not children out of wedlock. So I felt like all those times you guys were investing in telling. Do you understand?
Yes.
There was even when they said I went to the pool to swim, they caught my till today I don't know how to swim. How did you get me at the pool? And the annoying thing is, just like you said, our parents don't, or our dads, or then my dad didn't even ask if it was true or not. It was just beaten, like, hey, we're alone. And it was my junior ones that actually went to the pool. So today, there are so many things my junior ones do that I don't do. Because I had that, like, I didn't even go to the pool. I didn't even know how to swim. So how did I get it? So today, anything water or swimming is just not it for me. Because I didn't do a particular thing. I made it feel like I did it. And my dad did not ask question. So just beat. And my mom is sorry. That I said, I can't remember her beat. It feels like my dad did all the beating. And she was just there to be like, sorry,
good parents, bad
don't,
parents.
and all of that. So when I look back at these people, I'll be like, all those time you invested in
Talking about
telling our
Focus on
parents,
their own children
because
and
my
trying
parents
to
were
protect
doing,
them.
as far as I'm concerned, they were doing excellently well.
Yeah.
There was nothing we wanted that they didn't give. In fact, I was reading somewhere this morning that one of the things a mother said was she's going to ensure her child at an early age eats varieties of things. We didn't. If my mom can cook 3 breakfast, if I say I want yam and egg, she'll give me yam and egg. This one's a bread and egg. Do you understand? So we never had that option of it is what I have, you must eat. If it is anything you want, you would have.
Yeah.
So I just felt like we had the best. So those times, those neighbors, the next compound, the third, and on the streets where they would have invested it in their own kids and be like, and now,
I think that's actually
but still, you just get the
Because
gist. So many
seriously,
things.
if you look at it, one kids that grow up from parents that are intentional, like you did, actually, like Joanna said, they break that. So, because I mean, if my grandfather actually didn't tell my father, "I love you," my father is never going to tell me.
never
"I love you."
going to tell
So
that.
it's now left to me now. Every morning when I drop my daughter in the school, now most times I travel, but because I love to drop her every morning, sometimes that is the only time we get to spend together because before I get home, she's asleep again. So every morning when I'm dropping her, I drop her, and then I tell her I love you, Olga, and she's going. I have noticed that intentionally, once I get back to the door of the car, I must look back. Once I look back, she will just blow me. In fact, from what she's in primary 3, in primary 2 now, since nursery 1.
Wow.
Every time, once we drop her, and then you're about to leave her, she looks at you again and just blow that kiss.
Yeah.
So, and then I noticed that, okay, at first, it was weird for me. Because I mean,
You're not used to
I was
it.
still trying to learn how to tell you I love you. So I would say it and just say, you know I love you, right? Say, yes, I do. I love you too. So I understood that. But then, I thought it was just a one-time thing. But then I noticed that every time I turn back, she would just blow. And I sometimes feel, other parents, I was wondering that.
Can you relate?
What's going on with these people? Because definitely, I know she actually loved that. And then from there, she could come
Express
to me,
herself.
tell me, my friend said this, somebody said I'm like this, and I could talk to her easily. And I tell myself, sometimes this is what most kids want to grow up.
Yes.
That is the love they want to experience. And our parents, they try their best, but
They did.
Just in a
when
different
they
way. I
tell
think they
you,
have a different
the
way
way
of
of telling you
showing
they love you
Food.
is maybe they give you head of fish. Then you know, instead of giving you maybe half of the fish, so you eat the head. So you are the favorite. So head of chicken. So, you know, being vocal with your children, letting them know they are actually cherished, particularly at that
Early
Young
age.
early age when they are very easily manipulated by the people out there looking for. Because before social media became paramount, we thought in Nigeria we are
Well behaved.
but there were not serial killers, there were no molesters. Everybody would cover.
But now
If it
so many
happens,
things is trending.
nobody, you would never know. In that house, they did something like that.
Something can
Nobody
happen.
would know. But now we've seen that, okay, people went through this trauma growing up, and the trauma we just keep rolling out more traumas and PTSD, and in fact, some people can't even get married because of what they experienced like that. So I want to ask now, do you think I've seen this online before, and I'm a beneficiary in code. Do you think coming from a family that both father and mother, they date together, nobody check out, early
Yes.
than the other. It wasn't death. Well, I mean, so do you think actually kids that are raised in those homes have a better shot at growing up to be well behaved than kids
Single.
that actually their parents actually divorced or separated? And because you see some of the issues that we have around maybe poor kids that go through this trauma and because of failures for maybe the father is not available, the mother is not available, or they are both not available. They are alive, but they are not just available, and then somebody just fills that vacuum.
Okay, so for parents, even for those that were together, right? I've seen I have a friend whose parents are together, but it doesn't look like together. So in the sense that they were just in the house, but nothing was going on. So she comes crying. I was like, I showed her. She comes crying. I'll be like, "Ah, Lola, I don't know why." I'll be like, babe, don't worry. It's going to be fine. Now, dad just comes home, asks if there's food in the house. Not like he was going to drop a dime. Not like he's going to say, this is this. There was even a time she called me like, please, can I speak to your police officer friend? That dad was involved in a police case and all of that. So they need to like bail him out and all. And I had to do that. So it felt like it was even giving them more issues. In fact, there was a day she had to do a family meet, like call all her dads and said he's sending the dad out of the house. It was that bad. All right. Now, these are still, you will see first from the outside, people may not know what's happening. They're like, oh, those people are perfect, they're together. She got married, and unfortunately, her mom died.
Wow.
Just, I think, a month or two before the wedding. I was crying on her wedding day. Because I felt like her mom was there for her all the way.
Yeah.
And it felt like everything the mom was meant to enjoy,
Just-
unfortunately, the dad is going to. From the outside, people might look like, they're perfect, they're this. But inside, it was a deadbeat dad. Like, it wasn't there for them. So most of the time, I tell people that we don't have to judge by saying, oh, these people were together. I feel they're going to have a perfect home and be loved and all. It may not work. It might just be a single mom raising her child with love. I tell people, love is even enough. Letting the child know I love you, I care, I what's the word? I will always be there for you. I'll be like a listening ear to you. I think it's enough for the child.
Yeah.
I tell people that it is not about you having to tame your child when she grows up. Maybe when the child is now like 15, 14 or 18. You're not like, this is wrong. Showing love does not mean you shouldn't discipline a child at a very early age.
Yeah.
If it does something wrong, discipline the child immediately. You'll be the one enjoying it in the future. You see people that will be like, I did not raise it like that. It's a lie. There's something that went off. I was in a guy's trend yesterday on Twitter. He said his friends were smokers, were womanizers when he was in school. But he never did. That he lost to relationship because the girls thought he was just like them. But he said he never did. Because he knew what he felt was right for him and what he knew was wrong. So you don't have to, people be like, okay, be deceiving yourself. Let them enter university now. You say different. A child that will actually be spoiled or be bad will be. But the one that knew that it is wrong, won't be.
Yeah.
So I feel it has to do with upbringing. Even you've seen children that are raised at a very, that the parent got separated at a very early age. And you think that, don't worry, maybe as a father, I'll be like, let me see how you're going to raise them without me. And the kids might even turn out to be better. So we never can really weigh it. I think it has to just do with whoever is parenting. It may not even be the what's it called? The single parent being the mother. It could be the father. And you might be surprised. I have a friend, Ricky, she said her dad was one that told her about menstruation because her mom was not there. So our first menstrual pad was from the dad. Our first menstrual talk or lectures or education was from the dad. I had friends when I was in school. I went to boarding school and it was girls only. I had a friend whose mom was in the UK. It was only the dad that was here with her. So who brings up everything? It's the dad. So our menstrual kits, everything, whenever she's on her period and all, relies on the dad. That is our call. I'll be like, that she's down. She has menstrual disease. Her dad is with her in the hospital. So we never can. So at times, it doesn't just have to be just the parent. I remember a time when we were in Nasarawa State, we're talking about menstrual hygiene management. And so most of the time we tell the kids to write questions in case you don't want to ask
Yeah.
openly. And then that's another fight I do in school. This is another fight I do in school too. Because when you tell school owners you want to talk to the kids about menstrual hygiene management or like no. So how many girls do you want? Like I want everybody in your school.
Girls and boys.
Like
yeah.
no, it should be forgotten. Boys should also learn because we've had cases of girls committing suicide because of period shaming.
Yeah.
So because you got stained in class and what's it called? Then everybody start laughing at you and be like, hey, you got the red. I'm like, and you just look at of course you probably didn't know and all. And before you know, the shame alone wouldn't probably want you to come to
Yeah.
school. We've
Yeah.
had cases like that. Or a guy even telling the teacher, I think it was a uni in South Africa, where teacher said, oh, she sent a guy out of the class because he was being rude. And by the door, the guy said, oh, I think somebody's on a period, and he walked out. Uncultured children, right? So I ensure that everybody knows, be in class. On Sunday, I don't know how I should say this. I was going to church, and the first thing my brother asked me, did you take an extra part? In my head, like, what's wrong with this one? But because it was already with me and he understood, he knows what a woman should go through. So that's what other boys too should understand.
Yeah.
So if you make it a feminine thing alone, then what happens to the boys? And I think that's the society we get. So most of the time you get talk to girls and be like, cover your leg, don't let a boy do this to you, and so don't wear this, don't do that. And you neglect the boys. But they are actually the perpetrator. So imagine if you're talking to both sex. So as I'm telling the girl to cover her leg, I'm also telling the guy to be self-conscious, like control yourself, be
happen at a very young
self-disciplined.
age, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before they even get.
Before.
Are you saying we should these conversations around these sexual talks should happen even before puberty and anything? Or
Yes.
Yes,
Because
because-
trust me, things are happening. Like the Nassau one I was talking about, the girl hack said a guy in that class said if she had sex regularly, she won't have menstrual pain.
Hmm.
These are at least JSS school students. Then I tend to wonder, so you don't have a mom at home that you could have asked this question? Or you don't have an aunt or an uncle? And that's where it springs from. And I told them, see, if you try it, teenage mother. And trust me, the guy or your
Move on.
classmates will continue his education and you drop out of school.
Yeah.
But imagine if that guy too was not in the school. In fact, I think I was saying this one of my boss one time. I said, or do you think we should ensure that boys to stop education? Because it shouldn't be the girl alone. Because if you're a teenager and you fall off along the line, you have to put your education on hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually hard for most of them to continue with their
It is a-
education.
it is actually-
It takes a supporting parent
Yeah.
to say, oh yeah, now that you've given birth to the child, go back to school.
Yeah.
But look at cases where there are no supportive parents. What happens? When I was in the uni, I had a neighbor just opposite. In fact, we were childhood friends. Then when I stay in my grandpa's house for uni. So we were childhood friends when I go to my grandpa's house for holidays there when I was growing up. So I remember we build castle with sand and all of
Yeah.
that. But when I got back, well, of course, growing up, so I was ready, I'm going to meet, because that was our family house too. And the first 2-3 encounter with her, she was, this is not the kind of person I want to relate to, because the way she dresses, the cars that comes to drop her off, and her like, no,
The
this is
lifestyle.
not the
was-
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot be found associated with someone like this. Then one day we were just talking in in our house, and one of my cousins now mentioned that no, of course, in the conversation, like that's how mama, this person was telling our neighbor's child downstairs that you have 3 female children, and you people are poor like this. Just one female child that I have. See how we are living. Sometimes too, it has to do with, I really miss those days where everybody was your parents. Every
Yeah, when
person
the village
down
was,
the street.
the entire community was
is your
invested in your upbringing. Nowadays, I mean, we don't even greet our
Everybody's
neighbors.
on their own.
Everybody's on their own.
They even know who your next neighbor is, who lives in this. Everybody, if you like, be down the streets or you're even being molested, nobody's cautioning you and saying, what are you guys doing there at this time of the night? Where's your mom? Nobody cares. And that is even coming from a mother to another mother saying you could prostitute your child for money. Don't have 3 female children lying
Just doing
waste
anything.
while I have just one and she's doing this. So it has to do. And now imagine such child with other people's children that probably not also loved at home.
Wow.
Because, like I said, it takes love. If I'm not loved at home
Look
and
for
I'm
it
finding the
somewhere else.
love outside, thank
Yeah.
you. I would, as far as I know that if I talk to you as a guy,
Yeah.
you will listen to me. I'll keep coming now.
Fake love, original love. You're getting one thing.
Do you
Love is
understand?
love.
As far as I can relate to it, I can come back and tell you this happened. I can come back and gist with you. I can find myself talking to you for hours non-stop and I'm fine with you. Then it brings up something. So before you know it, if the guys start molesting me or touching me inappropriately, I'm still in that illusion that it is love. I'm still in that place I feel it's a safe space. So therefore, if he does anything, I still feel like it's a
And
normal
it just
thing.
becomes the norm.
It's a norm. And
that is
before you
what-
know
wow.
it, then the mother now starts crying. We trusted you, uncle. This. But where were you when your child needed those love? And it goes both ways too, because we've had boys that were molested. In fact, you hear
Yeah.
first cases where the maid they had, their house girls did this, did that to them. But there was no that motherly figure. There was no father in the house. A girl tweeted, she even did an Instagram live. I said, she said she didn't have a present father. Like her father was never present in her life.
Yeah.
Not like he was not there.
Yeah, physically.
He was there. That all her dad does was, so what do you want? I want this. Okay, I'll get it for you. So but let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Ask about my grade.
Yeah.
Ask about my first day at work.
Mhm.
Ask about my first friend. Like, did I make any new friend? Oh, who is this person coming to the house now? None of that was there. So just money.
That's
How much did you want?
that's
What car
scary.
do you want to change to? That was what. But she needed more and she didn't get it. So you won't be surprised if someone like that goes to find that love and care somewhere
Yeah.
else. And the father will come out tomorrow and say, but I was there for you. Like, yes, you were there. But just monetary part.
Only
I
gave me
needed
money.
other aspect of you. And I
Yeah.
didn't find it.
I think their narratives or their stories within our environment now that we need to rewrite. Because if you look at it now, Nigeria has this obsession or love with struggle. So my struggle is better than or is more than your struggle. So I went through life
You've
more
not
like this.
seen anything. Do you know what
Yes.
I went through?
My father did not do this for me. My father, there's this glorifying of how
Or suffering.
toxic, if I can use that word,
Yeah.
how the relationship.
Growing
Like,
up, and you feel
yes.
as if, that's my stamp. I have
Yes.
3-star stamp in that. I went through hell.
Exactly. You
Our
see,
mother did.
yeah. So you see abroad now, you'll be like, those ones going through life. Their father is relating with them. They are able to like be free and tell them, I have a girlfriend. You say, if you try that one over here,
Nigerian parents,
Yeah,
You
in
know,
trouble.
funny enough, yesterday I just saw a clip on Family Feud. I'm sure if you guys
Yeah.
know. And the question was, what are you likely not going to tell your parents? And then there were different options. I mean, can
Yeah.
relate. And then the top one was boyfriend, that you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And it actually shows that it had 39 points.
yeah.
So like actually shows that a lot of times, like even from like things are just the way they are progressing, I don't even know. Because I remember when I was in secondary school, some things could not just happen.
Yeah.
But how many years down the line, I was just talking with some of my juniors and the things that they told me
it's
were
alarming.
going on.
It's crazy.
Ha.
And if parents keep on having this relationship where there are barriers, all I'm just doing is taking you to school. My role
I'm
is
doing
just to
the
give you good
basics,
education
yeah.
and I've done well. Children are now being exposed to other environments
So many things.
outside
So much
what
more.
they already know.
Yeah.
So you thinking that my child is just this good person, this is all
I'm
he
giving him
knows.
the best.
Yeah.
So
He's seen that maybe in another country or in another environment, people are doing this and they're enjoying life. They're being exposed
Yeah.
to this. I mean, there was this challenge that was going on where you would press on someone's chest because it's called passing out challenge. Yes. So normally that's not something you know about. But I mean, if you just go on TikTok, you would see that people are doing these things. So your children are being exposed and people died from that thing.
Obviously.
Sadly. So people are being exposed to these kind of things. I feel like for NGOs now, I feel the roles, the impact that you guys can make is a whole lot. Because before, for me, NGOs were just focused on education, health, and everything. But now I'm seeing that
More of
there's
advocacy and empowerment.
yes, there's a lot of, we need to keep on reinforcing the right information to parents and to children. You shouldn't keep your children distant from you and just provide money and everything.
Yeah.
Build a relationship with these people and everything. So do you think, like, post-pandemic or during the pandemic, do you feel like the role of NGOs has evolved, or is just the same, meeting SDG goals, or do you think more has come to light from the pandemic that happened?
As far as I'm concerned, I think it's almost still the same thing. But
Okay.
before I get to that, I was also going to say that one of the things I usually tell parents is be a 21st century parent.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Be
Change.
one.
Yeah.
So don't say, all this is a Facebook thing, Instagram thing. No, Sabi man, please, Sabi. No, because you will be shocked at things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Be that parent that even before your child know, you know.
Yeah.
There was a trending video of a dad that tried WhatsApp video for the first time and said, I invented it. I don't say you know, Sabi, I might show you. It looks so fun, right?
Yeah.
That's like a conversation, even though the daughter I was referring to was an adult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure probably she might not, of course, WhatsApp keeps evolving and giving new features.
Yeah.
So I guess the dad saw that, and the way you do voice record, you can actually do a video record too.
Yeah.
So the dad saw that first. I'm like, I know, so you never savvy this type. Now me invent them. It was fun. That is a father that was trying to be intentional, not even intentional, trying to keep to date.
Yeah.
You see kids. There was a news, I think last week, of a lady reporting her uncle, a 40-year uncle, asking her junior brother how, and wanting to molest a junior brother of 14 years old or so. Looking at the chats she posted online, they were what's it called? Abbreviations and what's it called? What's that word?
Slangs.
What is acronyms?
Yes,
Yeah.
acronyms. Yes,
LOL, all those
thank
things.
you. There were even some that I couldn't even read because I had to start googling, what does this mean? And the man was flowing so well with the child. But now imagine if I'm a mother that probably don't know what I would think is a normal chat.
Yeah.
I would think they were just
You think
having
it's Roman
conversation.
numerals.
Thank you. I think they're just having like normal conversation. Whereas those abbreviations meant
Mean something.
the extreme. So can you come out now? Just that you're going to uncle's place now. Imagine if the elder sister wasn't, exposed and know all of those things and saw the chat.
Yeah.
In fact, she said she had to take over. Be like, let she be the one chatting with, just to nail him. So she will have something she can present to the police and say, this is what my uncle is doing. And in fact, she said his wife left him because he was caught molesting his 2 female children. Parents has to, like, not, it is nothing. When are they doing? Just leave me with this WhatsApp thing where I sabi. No. If it means you opening a TikTok account, please open, because you really have to be involved. Not your children coming in and acting a certain way and tell mom in a challenge now. Like, I mean to sabi because I don't see some, I don't know if you get.
Yeah.
But parents are not like present in their children's life. Mother is living in the 90s or 80s and the child is living in the 20s or in the 21st century. So how do you monitor? How do you instill discipline? How do you know that I think this might, I don't say I'm somewhere before. But because you don't know, you wouldn't care. You will allow things to flow.
Yeah.
If it was maybe those during COVID when Naimali said no
No
during
belt.
COVID, no belt and all of that.
Yeah.
If the mother too wasn't and you started acting like and the police were now taking them because they felt you're Uber and all.
The courts.
You're in the cult or something. But if the parent didn't know, that was like a trending thing. And I've not probably seen cases whereby police were not arresting anyone because you're already stereotyped and said, you're a Yahoo boy, or you do this, you do that. Of course, you that. But if a parent knows another, so you said, don't join a Mali no beggar. Oh yeah, go and use your belt. You just have to be
videos
there.
are wondering, this person no get mama for house. Like, this person no
You are
get
not
family.
loved at all.
I did not see. I mean, how did this happen? Who be this person parent? Like, I mean, this is. I'm wondering. This is not child now. I no get mama for house. Like,
As in,
is mama not? Nobody in the entire generation is online.
nice scene. So you have to be present to your child. Like, be the 20, like I said, I think the key was be 21st century parents. Be
Yeah.
up to date. In fact, before your child realize it, please do. Be
Yeah.
ahead of them.
Yes,
Be
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5 steps
Before
ahead of
they
them.
will join the trend. You have
You're already
seen
seen the
already.
trend.
Exactly.
When,
You
when they
understand
start
it
dressing to
well.
that, they say you
You're
want
already,
to become
you're already
this and
giving
that.
the
So,
other way. So
Yeah.
I'm coming back to the NGO thing. Just like I said, Nigeria has so many laws, so many bills enacted into law, so many have implementation, right? So if I come in today and say this is what I do, and I'm not doing it tomorrow, nobody's holding me to it.
Yeah.
If I'm meant to be doing a particular advocacy and I'm probably not doing it, or rather, just like you said, I wanted everybody should see that I'm doing a particular thing, and I'm just after the pictures. You've seen people that will go to communities and just take pictures. So not like
Yeah.
I actually
Magoko.
spoke to the community.
Magoko.
So not like I actually spoke to the community member. Not like I imparted their lives. Not like I told them something that is going to change them. I just wanted to give you the pictures. I just wanted people to know that I came to this community and I did this particular thing and I'm off. But for those that are genuinely doing something, of course, they're trying in their own little way to see that there's actually a change. And I will give it to those that are doing the sexual and gender-based, the GBV cases.
Yeah.
Of course, they've been, increased. People now boldly want to come out and tell their stories and say, this is what is happening. I've seen, what's it called? We've seen reports, on the rise. We've seen people boldly come up. Before now, when
Yeah.
GBV started, when we started doing the awareness and advocacy, like, I beg, madam, just leave them. Because before you know it now, my face go down there, social media. Before you know, my family members will start laughing at me. Before you know it now, they will do this. But now, you're making them aware that nobody's going to judge you. You're telling them that if I go police station and they'll tell me, say, waiting me everywhere. Waiting I define go there. Why was I there at that particular time?
Yeah.
Point in time. Then I like, see, now, there's a gender desk officer in every police station. So once you're molested or anything happens to you, please, when you don't meet those on the counter. In fact, we even joke and tell them, see those ones.
They're
Now
not your
family,
friends.
no, they're even your friend. You see those ones now, who still person steal my goats, person steal my generator. That one they handle. No go tell them say person. Just to make them
Yeah.
feel.
I didn't even know that it was a gender.
Yeah, there is. So now they had to be trained and all.
Yeah.
So now when you get there, don't make those ones where they come report to say person steal my generator for backyard. Tell them say you define the gender desk officer.
Okay.
Tell that one, because now that one NGOs like us don't train to work for. Do you understand? So I think you start telling them all of that. When you get raped too, don't take your beats. Don't do this, don't do that. Just take a picture of you and the clothes like that. Go to a government hospital, not one big man hospital because you have money. You're paying. Go to a government hospital. Tell them what happened. They know what test and whatever to do to you. Take the reports with the pictures, the clothes, if it's possible, the bruises and everything, pictures, or yourself, just like that. Just take yourself to the police station, ask of the gender desk, and lay your report. In fact, if you know that they are doing this, the Ministry of Women Affairs is there. Their gender desk also, they'll pick it up for you. When you start,
Yeah.
I think it takes enlightenment.
Yeah.
But then you start telling people, this is what you should do, this is what you do. Now people now feel safe and say, oh, okay, so I really don't have to do so much. I really don't have to feel bad. Like the FCT gender-based report system does not even what's it called? You can report anonymously and say this and this is what happened. Just leave a contact or a trace. Describe whoever you want to describe. You have his contact, put it there. They'll be the one to follow up for you. So you really don't even have to show in person to say this and this happened to me. And you'll be surprised that they'll pick it up on your behalf.
Yeah, that's actually nice.
So if that is now the case and I'm being enlightened about it, if anything happens to me, I'll boldly want to go and do the right thing.
Yeah.
There are US, what's it called? There are codes I can, type and
USSD.
USSD code, and just have and said, that pops up questions for me and asks, okay, so what happened? What sort of assault is it? What sort of violence is it? And how? And I know Education as a Vaccine does that. And just ask questions and there's a follow-up from there for you. There's FIDA Nigeria, so they're female lawyer-based organization. Give you pro bono services, in case they tell you the lawyer go bring your lawyer because they know you cannot afford it.
Yeah.
They're there to step in for you and say, we'll defend you in court and
So
fight
there
for
are
you.
many initiatives.
So there are many
people-
initiatives coming up. So when you know that all of these things are there for me, so why won't I speak up?
Yeah.
We're living in a generation where somebody said, for if any guy still comes up and still be doing, my mother did not, just know that it was not loved at home because our mother then were not speaking up. So if you see a lady speaking up now, you're terming it feminism and witchcraft and all of that. No, it's because your mother decided to stay in an abusive relationship and your dad was beaten every day and all of that. But this generation of women decided to speak up and say, no, we won't go the way our parents went.
Yeah.
We will speak up.
Yeah.
We're not going to be a generation of somebody was now, people are now commenting. We'll not be a generation of what's it called? I'm staying in the mind because of my children.
Yeah.
If it means I'm going to die in the mind, I'd rather go and ensure I have a better future with my children than stay there and die in there.
Yeah.
So now this is a generation that people are speaking up. But now you just have to speak up in the right direction, in the right way.
in the right way.
When I talk to children about sexual and gender-based violence, first thing I tell them is ensure you speak up. Imagine if this happens to you, and like I said, if it happens at home, ensure you tell in school. They're usually school counselors. In the case there is no, please meet with the proprietor or proprietress, tell them.
Yeah.
So that if no action is taken at home, it will be taken in school on your behalf. If it happens at school, tell the school authorities, tell the school counselor, but still go home and tell. In case the school is trying to cover up, someone at home is going to speak up on your behalf.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, when that happens, I usually paint a scenario. I say, okay, imagine if it happens to you and you didn't tell anybody. Tomorrow you come back, you
That's
hear
it.
that you're talking to your junior sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Will you speak up by then? Okay, let me even imagine you didn't do that. Then the person got drunk one day and did it to your mom. Is it that one that will not pay you and you will now speak up? But imagine you spoke up in the first instance and the person
It
got
stops that
arrested.
cycle from the beginning.
You went to, maybe you got to the police, you did the test, the person got arrested,
Yeah.
is in jail. Will the person come back tomorrow, for example, and do the same thing to your junior sister?
Definitely.
Will you come back and do the same thing, maybe in a drunk state or so, to your mom?
Yeah.
They'll say no. So which of the scenario will you go with? So when you start making children also real, like I said, this talk is not, you'll be surprised. We were called 2 years ago to talk to a school when they were resuming back from school. Now, school, PTA were saying during that PTA meeting that there's an increase in children watching a certain kind of video.
Yeah.
And this is meant to be a Christian school, in quotes. Now, school is saying the children started it all, we're watching it at home. This is a secondary school. The parents said, no, they are godly parents. Deacon and deaconesses from church, pastors or elders in church, they will never expose their children to that.
Yeah.
So now there's that what between it is from the home, it is from the school.
Cool.
So they had to bring us in. I was on the facilitator to talk to the children about it. So things are happening. It is not, you might be surprised and say it is not going to happen. They are too young for it. You might be surprised they're hiring her. Because these are like GSS1 students being
Those
exposed to
ones
that
are not
particular.
young again.
No.
I mean, we have people in primary school joining courts and having sexual relationship and everything, even in
So
primary
what are
school.
you not
yes.
saying? So when you keep looking at, she's too young. No, don't let's have that conversation. You will only be exposing. My dear, you're not exposing anything. Because the more reason why you make them, excuse me, I think when we were growing up, it was more of don't do it though. And it ends there.
Yes.
Curiosity will make me want to do it, to know why I
Yeah.
shouldn't do it. Because it stopped at don't do it. But this generation is saying, don't do it because if you do it, this, and
What
this.
are the
And I'd rather not
consequences
do
of the
it because
action?
I
Yeah.
know. And if I do it, I already know the consequences. So anything that happens, I should be responsible for it.
Yeah.
Because I was warned for and to say, if you do this and this are the consequences. But our parents going up, don't go to mommy so and so house. You can't even ask why. Who are you?
Who are you to ask why?
You should
Why
just
you to
follow
ask
with
why?
it.
Why? Mommy, why shouldn't I go? But this generation will ask you why. And there's nothing you can do about it because you will answer.
Yeah.
But if parents now start telling their children, don't do this because this and this and this, you won't. So when parents come and tell you, she's too young, I beg, don't expose my children. I'll be like, okay, no problem. I'll be here. Because that's the truth. Because that thing you refuse to tell her
They
or
will
tell
learn
you,
outside.
they'll
They'll
get
learn
it
from
outside
somewhere.
and they'll learn
They
the
learn it
bad
outside.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's even better you expose and tell them.
Yeah.
When we do menstrual hygiene talk and her, my what's it called program, she tells you the way it is. She says it, she calls it out. Because by the time you say no, don't touch my pee, what is pee? Say what it is. So that the child knows that this is it. Because pee to me might mean something else to another person. So the way I'm interpreting is different from the way you're interpreting. So if anything happens, I'll definitely take it. But if I know that it is this part I'm saying don't touch, it means don't touch it. My body is my body. It means I can decide what I want with it.
Yeah.
So don't do it. But if I'm saying, and this part is, don't touch my BB. What is BB? Tell them what it is. So that the child knows that this is the part you shouldn't touch. And I can especially tell it to an adult and say, don't touch it. If you do, I'll tell my mom. Because if you're like, he said he was going to kill me. Like, he cannot kill you. And he also said he's going to kill every member of my family. He cannot kill every member of your family. Tell him that you will tell if he does it.
Yeah.
For an adult that is smart enough, wouldn't go ahead. Because you already tell them, I'm going to... I had an experience like that when I just finished secondary school. I was going to be in... I went for this computer training, but it was more like an institute.
Yeah.
So the lecturer, one of the lecturers was like, so I'm going to... The handout will soon be ready. I'll be like, okay, sir. The next time is... maybe on my way home, you call it, before I get to the door. So you're one of those I'm keeping the handouts for. In my head, I knew my mommy paid for it. So I don't know why you're been asking me handout and no handout. And then I've not even been to a uni. So I didn't know what it was. But of course, you would have heard stories about uni, lecturers and the likes. I didn't say anything. So one of these maybe felt it was comfortable enough with the handout, whatever, so he can talk to me. He said, okay, so when can we go out? I'm like, I don't understand. So like when is your free period? Of course, I know what that means. Because I went to a female only secondary boarding school. So I knew there's nothing once called period that I don't know. He said, I don't know. But when I get home, I'll ask my mommy. Like, you know a big girl, she know when your free period is. Like, free period? I don't know. When I get home, I'll ask my mom. Because there's nothing I don't tell my mom. I'll ask her. That was the last time he had a conversation with me. But imagine if my mom too was not the kind of person that you can talk to. Of course, I didn't tell her that. I was already grown up to know what is right and what is wrong, how to maneuver our way around some certain things. But imagine if I didn't have that experience or things. It's either I give in to him or I won't have even given him a leveling ground for him to feel threatened in the first place.
Yeah.
But I didn't give it, like, if you try it, I'll tell my mom.
Just shut it down.
Yeah.
So no comeback, nothing you could
I was diplomatic. I was like, when I get home, I'll ask my mom. I don't know what.
So that just stops anything.
That was the first and the last. And it was so funny because this is an handout that was paid for. So why are you making it feel like it's a particular thing? I have to give you something to get it in return. Like, I don't understand. Uncle, give me. My mommy paid for it. But yeah, that parents should have conversation with them.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, guys, so it's been a wonderful conversation so far. So does anyone have any last things they want to say, anything at all? Any comments on what we've spoken about so far? Any takeouts?
Yeah, I think I have just one or two things to say. I mean, it's wonderful to see how committed you are to this. I mean, this calling. It's more like a calling. Because, I mean, I don't know anybody that would be consistent in something for 5 years plus, 5 years, where you cannot say, okay, I'm being paid this amount, and you've not tried to. I mean, people will have monetized everything they've done. Like, people will have find a way to say, I've been here. So, and I think it's just goes to show how much value you keep pushing out there. And so, I mean, we are proud of you. I know at Lens Floor, we always look for opportunity to partner with you so that we know how much you are doing. So we hope you continue to give of yourself. So I would love to hear stories about how much we want more girls learning. So that's something I used to say. I think I've told my colleagues there about, we don't use the word out of school again. We use out of learning. So because, I mean, those kids now, you are bringing learning closer to their communities, and it's something that we are so proud of. So I know we've also spoken about parents showing love. So I'm happy that at least I'm already doing that with my daughter. My son is still too young, but sometimes even when I tell him I love him, you know that he's so.
But I keep saying it.
Exactly.
I'm
So
you.
I mean, I am proud that at least I can relate with what it means to grow up without somebody saying it. I mean, I was loved. So at least for their own to their own extent. So, but I'm able to communicate better with. So we want parents to show the love. Tell your kids you love them. Be their best friends. So be the disciplinarian and also be their best friend. So that that uncle, that auntie out there that feels as if they know the loopholes to actually meander and get their way into the kid's life, they can at least just get told, oh, I will tell my mommy what you said. And then that just shuts them down. So I think it's been a wonderful conversation for me.
Thank you, Dr. Femi. Ope?
So I would say number one, there are two things that I would like to talk about. So the first one is, in school, we're usually told, put value first, push value first, value first. It's not about the office or the role, it's about what you do at the end of the day. And like everything you have said, yeah, just an embodiment of all that, putting value first before.
I don't want to cry.
Because it's not joke or it's not play. Like there's a lot of serious work going into it, and you are blessing lives and touching hearts, and not just people alive now. You're blessing people that are not born yet, so generations. I think that's the first thing, adding value and everything. Then secondly, I think seeing what consistency can do for you. I mean, you said that you started and sometimes things weren't really sure. You weren't really sure how you're going to get money to do this and everything, but just being consistent and driving towards that. I mean, we're in the time, just like Dr. Femi has said, we're in a time where people are putting money in front of value. So if you can't pay this amount of money, we can't work together. I know my worth, so I can't do this. And people are not willing to sacrifice to build relationships. I think another thing I've seen from what you've said is about building relationships and not just the money, partnership and everything. So I think number one, putting value first, being consistent and building relationships. That is something I've learned and is being reinforced again in my life. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything from you?
I think I've had a great time. And I'll always be open to learning, to sharing, and imparting, right? So it doesn't stop here. We keep pushing. I know that one day we'll get it right. And I think that's one thing for me. I think if we all start taking patriotism seriously and saying, this is my country, I have no any other one. So even if you jump right, you still have family members. In fact, there'll still be a day out there you'll be reminded of your roots. So instead of you saying, I'd rather go out than invest in my country, then what happens 10, 4, 5 years later? Example is the Ukraine war, right? Where houses and all were being destroyed. And somebody, during that time, people were coming back to Nigeria and they had nothing. So it felt like some of them left thinking there's nothing, nothing will bring me back. But if I can tell, something happened there. Now you had to come back. Now the same government you're insulting, you're online behind your keypad, and you never say anything good about the country. These are the same people you're asking for help to come pick you, saying. So most of the time so it's not just about now. I tell people it's about the future. You never can tell what you're actually doing now, right? And how it's going to affect the future. So I tell people, live as much as you can now, live the best of it. I think that's the word. If you're doing right, people will see it. If you're doing wrong, people will also see it. So the coin you're using or the lifestyle you think you're living now, you feel it's the best, keep at it though. Trust me. Because in the future, you'll be paid back. There's a reward waiting for you somewhere. So it's either the good or the bad. So it's whatever you give out, you receive. But like I tell people, I'm not doing it because I wanted all the attention or because of that. But just for the main fact that putting the country first, putting the continent first, and also with the fact that we just have to touch life one way or the other. We can't all come in and be like, we leave the world like that. So what exactly are you going to be known for when you're gone? And that's why we tell even kids, like at a very young age, start thinking about it. What will I do that when I'm gone, when I'm no more, people can still talk about me and
Yeah.
say, I did this or I did that. So that's how it should be. And yeah, please don't put money first. I tell people, if you have the money, just go. If they call you for a particular thing, if you have the money, just be there. If they call you for volunteering your time, except genuinely you don't have. I tell people that I'd rather go for that event and network
Yeah.
than me going there and looking for the money or looking for who is going to pay me. Because at the end of the day, it is the networking that helps. I've been to just tag along. Lola, come, let's go to the House of Assembly, for example. I think that was last year. And when we got there, they were having conversation about how they want to do a school, a teenagers conference or children's conference. And when they were done, in fact, the meeting was not even fruitful because what they wanted they couldn't achieve it because of the time frame at that time.
Yeah.
And when they were doing like, Honorable, meet Lola. Oh. Lola does this, and this. In my head, I was there. Like, I'm even there. I was not allowed to say a word. Not because but they were the one saying Lola does this, Lola does. And 2 weeks after I got the national award with the vice president in attendance. So most of the time, people will see it. You don't. I tell people, everybody that wants to do, let them see that I'm doing it. At the end of the day, they don't have to say that you're doing it. You don't have to put it out there in their face. See, I'm doing it.
You can't hide value.
You
forever.
can't. So
The
let
value
them be the
actually
one to
comes up.
see it and say, okay, this person is actually doing this. And let us. So most of the time when we put in money, people used to ask them, but you consult for this person and do this, this, and this. Sometimes they're paying you money. Like, they don't pay. But I feel like the contact I've gotten just by working with that person is enough.
Yeah.
It gave me access to all commissioners. It gave me access to government houses. It gave me access to National Assembly. That is enough for me. The only thing is what I do with the networking after. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But if you keep saying money, they'll give you that money. Then after the money, what
What
else?
What's next?
That is
You
it.
always still need more money. So thank you for sharing. For me, I think my takeout is that you need to be very intentional. If you decide you want to have children or you don't, there's a child present, right? And you have a role to play. So just try as much as possible to be intentional, show love, show care, and just be present. And also create a safe environment for your children and create value. Don't stop creating value. One day to speak for you. So it's been a wonderful time on the show, but it has to come to an end.
Sadly.
So remember to like, share, comment. We want to hear from you. So please comment your opinions, your thoughts, what you'd like us to talk about, anything. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Also turn on your post notifications so you are the first to know when there's a new video. We hope you had as much fun as we did. See you, same place, same time next week. Bye.
Bye.